We are now live on YouTube, going live on Rumble. And hello, good morning. Welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is about what happened to a date throughout the annals of recorded history. Join us as we delve into yesteryear, not only for important and interesting happenings, but to possibly even answer questions you don't know you have. The sources of our information come from the website onthisday.com and the smart device applications historical calendar and to date in history. For links to these sources and anything else potentially interesting, please check the underbar of the description below, and all links gathered throughout the show will appear post live stream as per usual. I haven't done that in a while though. Anyway, I am Xander.
King's Refuge.
Golden Loon.
And you, viewer, of course, are you. Thank you very much for joining us. Whether you're watching us live or at some point in the, what we would call the future. So, but yeah. Anyway, today is Saturn's Day, aka Saturday, July 27th, 2024. So, Sir King, would you care to start us out in the year 432?
With a king.
Yeah. Well,
King for a king.
432. One second here.
and you're
432. What's that?
You're a tiny bit muffled. Like, I can hear you, but, like, it sounds a little bit, like, pillowy. A little bit. But
Oh,
You're in a tunnel.
right now.
that's a little better, yeah.
A little better.
Well, I mean, like, as long as you're audible, that's all that matters. Anyway, what do we got?
Alright. 432, Saint Celestine the first ends his reign as Catholic Pope.
Uh-huh. And that's really only in there because, that's the first, article we got of the day here.
Right.
So,
Right.
now there might have been an earlier one had I utilized a secondary source. But sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Now, is that the original pope, or were there popes before him? I have
Oh,
no
well,
idea.
the original, that's a good idea. That's a good question. Who was the first pope? And it might be a disputed claim. So, list of popes here. Because, even today, there's, there's this pope, there's the anti-pope, there's this, but there's,
Yeah.
there's, a lot of popes. But,
Well, I just wonder if they have a date on the first one.
so the first pope here is 30 to 64. So, the year 30.
30, okay.
Pontiff number
So
1.
this guy was way later.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's see here. Born as Shimon, son of Yonah, a Jew from Judea.
Hey, I'll be back. Give me a second here.
All right. A Perigonus, which a Perigonus is a free provincial subject of the empire who was not a Roman citizen. A free. Oh, what it just said right here. Apostle of Jesus. It was Saint Peter here. According to Catholic tradition, he received the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Feast day. The Catholic Church recognizes him as the first bishop of Rome appointed by Christ and therefore the first pope. Although revered as a saint in Eastern Christianity, with the feast day of June 29th, St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City is named after him. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, St. Peter, was the very first. And yeah, he was one of the
Yeah,
apostles.
That does make sense.
He was one of the apostles,
Yeah.
right? Like, he was, one of the
I believe so.
people in the Last Supper
Yeah.
and everything, along with Judas. Oh, Judas. But then we have the first Roman Pope, Saint Linus. Then the first Greek Pope. Then we have a
What
Roman
was the date of the
citizen.
first Roman pope? Does it have a date? without-
First Roman Pope, 64.
Okay.
So Saint Peter was from 30 to 64, and this
Right.
guy's from
So
64
he
to
was
76. Yeah. So then Saint Linnaeus, and then Saint Anacletus, and then Saint Clement the First, and then it goes on. Then we have the 2nd century, 3rd century, and it just goes on and on and on. So now we are on Pope. Let's see here. Okay, well, that's something else. 266. This is Francis. Okay, yeah, this guy. So Pope 266. That is quite a.
Pope 266. I wonder who goes by that.
Yeah. Well.
Alright. How about now? How I sound
Oh,
now?
that is much clearer.
Yeah, you got it now.
Yeah, I got the mic out.
Nice, nice. Oh, is that the glowy one?
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah.
Dude, I got
my
so
camera.
used to your shitty mic that I completely forgot you actually had a good one. Nice.
Hey.
Nice. Now you're streaming.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, no, we went over that whole Pope thing just now. What else do we got here? Moving on up, about 800 years. Wow.
1214. Battle of Bovines. King Philip II in France versus Holy Roman Emperor Otto IV and King John of England. As a result, John loses Normandy and his other possessions in France, hence his nickname John Lackland.
Loses Normandy.
Yeah, that was the last thing that England really had of mainland Europe. That was the last section.
Normandy seems to pop up in history, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, well it's like geographically it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like it's not as close as Calais, but still it's right there.
Wouldn't it be more landable? Is the whole point?
Well, no, that'd be Calais because that's the closest. That's the narrowest gap in the English Channel.
No, I understand the distance-wise, but wouldn't Normandy be more of a beachfront land?
Well, it was used for just that, obviously.
Yeah.
And
I don't know the terrain of Calais, to tell you the truth.
Neither do I really. But no, like
Where is it where they climb the cliffs, put ropes up and climb the cliffs?
Point du Hoc.
Is that what it was?
Point du Hoc. Yeah, Point du Hoc.
I only know the story, not the region.
Yeah, so you're talking about like the first use of the Army Rangers, the big red one. Yes. Point du Hoc.
That was gruesome. How'd they do that?
They got it. Like when you're faced against the absolute evil. That's
die. I guess you do it.
Like it's funny. Like people at fast food restaurants are complaining. Oh, my job is just too hard. It's like, okay, well, climb the cliffs of Normandy and then cry to me. Like.
That story goes so untold, and to me that's.
Well, it's such a small
awesome.
It's such a small blip on the whole overall scale.
You're right.
You're
right.
But that blip was incredibly significant because they believed, and there were at one time guns that covered, Omaha and Utah beaches and some other beaches,
right.
And would just like completely control that entire sector and make it unlandable. Omaha was already like almost like it was this close to being called off. Omaha Beach. Like it was.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, because like none of the tanks showed up, really anywhere because the people who crew the tanks know how the waters act.
Right.
So they're trying to drive tanks against the currents, and of course they flood and they sink, and so.
Sorry, it kind of got off in World War II.
Yeah, but no, they picked Normandy because it had a lot of similarities. That the beaches did in Italy when they invaded that.
Oh.
Like because there are certain beaches you want you want wide, you want landable. You don't want to land on cliffs.
Right.
You don't want to land on anything that was like too defensible, and that's why I said Omaha Beach was rather unique because they had those cliffs.
Yeah.
So, you had the wide open beaches, but then you had the cliffs, and that, was obviously utilized to, for more bunkers and everything. But for the most part, the other beaches, especially Gold, Juno, and Sword, were just flat open that just led right into town. Kind of like how, Seal Beach and Manhattan Beach we have out here and everything. Like, those would be ideal beaches to land on. Like, it's just wide open. You could just walk right in, So... Anyway, but yeah, no, this guy, he nicknamed his guy as John Lackland because he's lacked land. He lost land, so yeah. Anyway, for your third one, we got 1280. What do we got?
Give me a moment here.
All right. Well, I'll take this here while you're doing that. 1280, Sogen Mugaku, founder of Ingakuji Temple, arrived in Japan from China. All right. So, whoever made that temple, like some religious order, so that's pretty interesting.
From China.
Yeah. 1377, the first example of quarantine in Ragusa, which is now Dubrovnik. City Council passed law saying newcomers from plague areas must isolate for 30 days, which was later 40 days, or quaranta in Italian. So quaranta, 40 days, quarantine.
Oh, okay.
So and this is the first documented use of intentionally keeping people where they are until because long enough because 40 days is more than long enough for the vast majority, if not every disease, to start showing symptoms.
Yeah.
So if you start showing symptoms, then you gotta treat everybody on that boat. So moving on up, we have 1501. Nicolaus Copernicus, formally installed as an Augustinian canon of Freiburg Cathedral at Frombork. Now, what the hell does that even mean? An Augustinian canon? Did they turn him into a gun? Like, that is such a weird thing.
I have no idea what they're talking about.
A canon regular. Okay, what is this? They're priests who live in community under a rule, Latin regula, and canon in Greek, and are generally organized into religious orders, differing from both secular canons and other forms of religious life, such as clerics regular, designated by a party similar terminology. As religious communities, they have lay brothers as part of the community. At times, their orders have been very popular. In England in the 12th century, there were more houses of canons, often referred to as an abbey or a canonry, than monasteries of monks. Oh!
So canon, and when you start reading, I realized I'd forgotten all about that. But a canon is a ranking, so to speak.
Yeah. Are you getting enough air, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's really interesting, and that immediately just makes you remember Northshire Abbey or something from a game I used to play. So the leader of the abbey would be a canon.
Yeah.
Okay. So the leader of a church would be a priest. There's preachers. There's bishops. There's the pope. There's all these. A whole hierarchy of everything. So canon is part of that.
Structured religion, so
yeah,
you're gonna have hierarchy.
Well,
and follow
religion is structured. Religion itself is structured spirituality.
Yes.
So, if I'm correct in my that's how I view it. Structured religion is, if I'm using the word correctly, oh damn. I can't think of that word, but I view religion because all religion is structured, but it's structured around spirituality.
Yes.
So
it's a way for the masses to comprehend and to follow
as a unit, yeah. Rather than doing it on their own, they go with the group.
Skelter.
Yeah.
It'd be very hard to survive on your own because there's no structure. Without structure, it's not very survivable.
Yeah, but you don't really need structure for spirituality.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not.
Anyway, what do we got here in 1549? Good sir.
1549. We have the first Christian missionary in Japan, Jesuit priest Francis Xavier, reaches Japan, but is not permitted to enter any port until August 15th.
That sounds like quarantine,
Yeah.
Speaking of quarantine.
Yeah.
The first Christian missionary in Japan. Well, look at that.
Yeah.
Christianity is spreading like a disease.
Man, oh man.
I mean, am I wrong?
The disease part, I'm not going with you there.
Well, they tried to do that with the Sentinelese, and that didn't work out too well. So, yeah.
Well, you're going to expect resistance, that's for damn sure.
Well, you remember who the Sentinelese are, right?
Who?
That island, it's an uncontacted tribe off of India.
Yeah.
Who they threw spears at planes and all that stuff and shot arrows. What was it, 2014 or something? Some Korean minister went over there to try to teach them the word of Jesus, and they killed them.
Something like that.
And because
here's our word.
Because they're so incredibly aggressive, nobody went back for the body. It's just the government just whatever happens there really stays there. If you go there, you will not get back up. You will.
Yeah.
They won't even collect your body. You're gone.
You're on your own.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
We got some. Here we go. some witchcraft stuff here. 1566.
1566, tribunal convicts Agnes Waterhouse of witchcraft and sentenced her to the first British woman. Hey, there's a first.
Yeah.
Yay,
Yeah.
first.
Well, I don't think they really want that on their repertoire. I'm the first woman. First
I'm
woman
the
to be
first
burned
woman.
and executed. Wait a
I'm the
minute.
first woman that gets
I'm gonna
executed.
go down
Oh,
in history.
God.
I mean, she did.
First British woman executed for the crime. Chelmsford, England.
Well, maybe she shouldn't be doing math.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, no, seriously, they accused women of
Or
witchcraft if they could do math.
reading.
That was a serious thing.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I think it was. I mean,
Some bullshit.
maybe it's just some some entertainment.
She took a
trope.
plant. She took a plant and rubbed some ointment. She rubbed some dude's fucking scar with some plant, and it healed. And they're like, witch.
Yeah, she knows how to use aloe, and therefore she's from
Right.
Satan. So,
Oh man, where are we going here?
well, no, we're making fun of how people used to think. It's ridiculous.
She used aloe.
Yeah, she learned how to use aloe, therefore she's a witch. Burn her.
She healed my wound overnight.
Good thing they didn't have Neosporin then.
Oh my goodness. What else do we got here? Oh, here we go.
1586, Walter Ray begins the first tobacco to England from Virginia.
Introducing
All right.
tobacco to
Damn him.
you. Yeah,
Tobacco.
that tobacco.
I got addicted. Ooh.
Yeah.
Wacky.
Well, this isn't. No, it's nicotine. So, yeah. Which is in tobacco, which is why it's
Hardest
so
thing I
addictive.
ever had to break was that damn smoking. Oh, that was tough.
Yeah. So, moving on to 1643, Oliver Cromwell defeated Royalists at Battle of Gainsborough. All right. And Oliver Cromwell, he was Oliver Cromwell, English military and political leader. I believe he was like the Pretender. I guess not. He played first formation of Comet. He was in the Civil War. Am I thinking about somebody else? Because there's somebody who claimed that they had rightful heir to the throne, but the crown denied him. So he went down in history as the Pretender. He had fought this entire war. I think it was the Jesuits, or maybe that was a whole other thing. So many things happen in history. It's hard to remember everything,
Oh, yeah.
And with us covering everything in this show, sometimes some things blend into other things,
Well,
especially
that's what this show's about. It's just a reminder.
yeah. 1655, Jews of New Amsterdam petitioned for a Jewish cemetery. I wonder why they want,
The question is, did they get it?
Well, the question is, why is that so important to them to be buried away from everybody else? Why do they have to have their own little segregation thing? Is it the whole point mixing with others, or do they don't want to be here with the goyim? Like that's.
No.
I don't know. That's their belief. I'm just saying. I don't. I mean, why is it so important to them to have one? Why is it so important to me if they have one? It's not. But why is it so important to them for have one? Why is the subject even being talked about?
Well, maybe they're having. You don't know the background of it. You don't know the details. Maybe
I
they're
don't.
Having.
Maybe they can't bury in any cemetery because they are
Christians
Jews.
weren't letting them go into the Christian cemetery, so they petitioned to get their own.
Well, exactly. That's why I'm asking the question. Why would they bring this up? Unless if there's a valid reason, then okay, I understand. So if
But if that's your beliefs, there is no invalid reason.
Well,
If you accept all people's beliefs, then there is no invalid reason.
well, no. What I'm saying is, if they are, allowed to bury, in certain, in Christian cemeteries or whatever, if they're allowed to bury, then why don't they just continue on? Why do they have to have their own separate plot to be special? You know, like why is it that important to them, or were they not allowed to bury? You know, I want to know.
Well, without the depth, you'll never know.
I know. That's why I'm asking. Like, so I'll just look this up here really quick. Actually, you know, Jewish arrival in New Amsterdam. Okay, so they arrived in. The Jewish arrival in New Amsterdam of September 1654 was the first organized Jewish migration to North America. Okay, so New Amsterdam. Oh, so that's up in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, area.
You got to remember, people have family plots, and all the family gets buried in these things. And they've been doing it for hundreds of years. If it's a big enough plot.
I need you to talk louder, and I need
So
to
it's not unusual or bad to have your own thing.
No, it's not. I'm just saying, like, why, like, if they don't have any alternatives, then I understand. You know, like.
Well, I go back to make it easier to understand the family plot. There's other alternatives, but you choose to be buried with your heritage.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you don't need to, like, really, like.
Well, if you have a need for it, then that's fine.
That's just one family. A whole group of people, though, like.
What's the difference? You want to be buried with your heritage is the best way to put it.
I want to be buried with humans. I don't care who they are, where they're from, what color their skin is, what they believe. A human is a human. Why would I ever want to be buried separately? You know, like in my own little pocket. That's just. Anyway, 1661. Sir King, you want to take that one?
1661, English Parliament confirms the Navigation Act.
What's that one? 1661 Navigation Act. Let's see this. Navigation Acts. Okay, well, where you have plural thing. Go away, Wikipedia.
The Navigation Act.
Or more broadly, the Acts of Trade and Navigation were a long series of English laws that developed, promoted, and regulated English shipping, trade, and commerce with other countries with its own colonies, and with its own colonies. The laws also regulated England fisheries and restricted foreign, including Scottish and Irish, participation in its colonial trade. While based on earlier precedents, they were first enacted in 1651 under the Commonwealth. So this is the first in a long lines that I believe still probably, you know, are going on today. Interesting.
Well, as their power diminished, I'm sure those acts also went away. Not necessarily all of them, but I'm sure in some way it filled their coffers too.
Oh, definitely. I mean, like, so this was basically like.
But they were the power around the world.
It was it's essentially kind of like a government monopoly. It sounds
it's
like.
to control. Yeah. It's all about control.
Yep. Anyway, let's see here. What else do we got? Another act. I'm gonna add these acts to the underbar actually. So, but what else do we got here? 1663. Just 2 years later, English did it again.
1663, English Parliament accepts Staple Act.
Well, I looked up 1663 Staple Act, and I'm getting Navigation Acts again. So
It's just part of the whole thing.
Yeah, so this is like, you know, like as it said at the beginning here, you know, there's a lot of stuff added. Well, there's 1663 here, 1673, 1696, 1760s, 1849. So there's so many like added things to this. So the Staple Act is just it's an addition to this initial Navigation Act. Yeah, interesting. So they you know directly link up. You got some more England here in 1694.
1694, Bank of England granted 12-year charter act by Act of Parliament.
Ah, that sounds like Rothschilds to me.
12-year charter, so that's the official Bank of England then. It's the bank for England, I guess.
Yeah. You know, like how the Federal Reserve is for us and all that stuff. You know,
I don't know if it's exactly the same thing, but same concept,
same attitude and all that stuff. This smells of Rothschilds to me. Like this reeks of Rothschilds, or somebody like it. So, moving up to 1720, the second important victory of the Russian Navy, the Battle of Grengam. So, all right, cool, Russian Navy. 1789, U.S. Congress established the Department of Foreign Affairs, which is now referred to as the State Department. That's weird. when you think about it. Like, Department of Foreign Affairs. So it's the Department of the Affairs of, foreign nations.
Yeah.
So, but now it's the State Department. So now it's domestic.
Yeah.
But it went from international to domestic. They flipped. That's weird.
Well,
their focus.
It's the department that works internationally with the world.
No, but if it's the State Department, then it's the Department of the State.
Yeah.
And that's not international. That's internal. That's domestic, right?
True.
Like,
but it's the internal State Department to work with other countries internationally.
but then why wouldn't they name it as such? Like,
Because it's from our country, and they'll work with other countries.
but then why not just still call it the Department of Foreign Affairs? If that's what it's action, the name should reflect the action.
True.
Is what I'm
So
saying.
read it again. Read the difference.
Department of Foreign Affairs, State Department. Like,
Okay.
one tells me, okay, it's involving the foreign affairs because it's right there in the name.
Yeah.
Pardon me. The other one is Department of State, which is focusing on the states. We are the United States.
I
You
know.
know?
But no, it's the State Department of Foreign Affairs.
So why not call it that?
Well, to me, that's what it says. Read the whole thing again.
U.S. Congress established the Department of Foreign Affairs, now referred to as the State Department.
Okay.
I mean, it makes
Oh,
it makes as much sense to me as the Department of Defense being used offensively. How can you call yourself a Department of Defense if you're not defending? You're offending. You're the attack group, not the defense. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's a contradictory
no, I don't
like-
look at it that way.
or misleading name at
No,
least.
actually, it makes it when you say the State Department. Now you're being more definitive rather than whatever.
Well, let's say you, King. Like
he doesn't care probably.
probably not.
What are you guys talking about?
How long are we gonna make this show?
All right, well let's keep going then. 1794, Maximilien Robespierre was overthrown in a coup in Paris, and that's not good because he was a revolutionary. He overthrew the bourgeois, like Robespierre, and actually he helped the revolutionaries in our revolution. Like he had a direct hand with us. Maximilien Robespierre. I think he was actually the one who trained. Like, let's look at his.
Wait a minute, the dates don't quite mesh for that. This is 1794.
Yeah.
That's kind of late.
Let's see here. Maximilien Robespierre proposes a self-denying ordinance, making it so that no deputy who sat in the Constituent Assembly could sit in the succeeding assembly. Okay. Then the National Constituent Assembly in Paris is dissolved. Parisians hail Maximilien Robespierre and Jérôme Pétain as incorruptible patriots. So
Okay, he could be because we were just 20 years earlier. So, as a young man or whatever, he could have been helpful to us.
okay, this guy starts accusing Maximilien Robespierre of wanting a dictatorship for France. So it's not telling me anything about. And this is all 1791. I thought he had a direct hand, so I'm thinking about somebody else. Then I guess, but he was still he was a revolutionary. He was eventually guillotined. So
Not a good way to end.
no. So at 36. Anyway, moving on up. What do we have here in 1811?
New century.
1811, Miguel Hidalgo, Y. Costilla. Is that a typo? The
E.
Y?
Y in Spanish is E, so which means and. So
And, yeah.
Miguel Hidalgo
and
y Castilla.
Ah, okay. Spanish Catholic priest and leader of Mexican independence, defrocked and excommunicated by the church.
I wonder what he did.
He didn't like it, that's for sure.
Yeah, they didn't like him, so
Probably have an opinion of his own.
maybe. I see we have 4 viewers, or actually like 3 viewers. I'm one of the viewers, so but hi viewers.
You count. Barely, but you count.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah. 1816.
1816, U.S. troops destroy Fort Alapaciola at Seminole Fort to punish Indians for harboring runaway slaves.
Oh man.
Wow.
Wow. That's awful. Like, that's awful on so many levels. Like, I didn't, like, 2024, we're living through through such horrid atrocities, but every now and then, something has happened historically that, still makes, me, like, wow. So,
Yeah.
like, not only were the natives screwed, but then they got screwed again for trying to help a whole different people trying to run away from getting screwed. Like this is screwed cubed. Like, my God.
Yeah.
Screwed cubed, another term.
Yeah. This is screwed to the third power. That's cubed. It's not just squared. It's, three-dimensional screwed, man. Anyway, 1830?
1830, July Revolution breaks out in Paris, opposing the laws of King Charles X.
All right. Yeah. Did he get guillotined too? No, he died of cholera. So, all right.
1836, the ship, the Duke of York, arrives with the first colonists at Nepean Bay, Kangaroo Island, South Australia.
Sounds hopping.
Haha.
1837, a U.S. mint opened in Charlotte, North Carolina. All right.
Yeah.
1844, a fire destroys the U.S. mint at Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, wow. That didn't last very long, did it?
I've heard Money Machine go burr, but that went burr a little too hard. Like, slow down. All right. Like, wait till 2020 before you rev up them fryers. But they can really calm those fryers down.
Do we have a conspiracy theory here? Started and stopped in how many years?
Let's see here. 4 plus 3 equals 7. Yeah. So 7 years. So 1837, and 7 years later, 1844, same mint. I would assume, they don't make many mints.
Another mint was involved, I'm sure. Getting rid of the
It
competition.
happened on the same day?
Now, yeah. That's what
same day.
You know what? Now my conspiracy
now
theories.
we got a conspiracy.
And now we're... Wow. How is this the same day?
That is actually kind of wild.
It's weird.
That is strange.
Yeah.
I mean, like, where's Alex Jones? Call him up. Like, I mean, like, because I too am kind of retarded. So that's actually one of his quotes. So yeah.
It's nice. It's good, Alex.
Yep. Let's see here. 1862, a massive typhoon hit Canton and Whampoa in China. At least 40,000 die. Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
Jeez, man.
So, oh my God.
The population
wow.
density, though.
1862, though.
That is a massive number.
That was 1862.
Yeah,
That's...
that is equivalent to tens of millions today, I'd assume.
I don't know. Not that much.
Well, I would, yeah.
200 years?
Well, like, what was the world population in 1862? World population, 1862. Okay, let's see here. Year, 1800. About 0.89 to 0.98 billion. So, just,
1 billion.
So let's just say 1 billion. Okay, even though it didn't even hit a billion until between.
Right. So less than a billion. 3/4 of a billion.
Well, no.
Whatever.
Let's round up to a billion. Okay. So
Billion.
what's
Round
So
up.
what's today?
today's 8 billion.
8 billion. Woo.
Yeah.
8 times.
Yeah.
More than 8 times.
Yeah.
So,
So
40
8
times 8?
Half a million, 250,000 people.
Okay.
Half a million.
8 times 40,000.
Yeah.
40,000.
Yeah.
What? 400.
Taking the difference, less than a half million people. Still, that's a lot of people.
Times 8.
It's 32.
320,000. Okay,
And it
so
was less than a billion. So yeah, less than a half a million.
that's still a lot of people.
A lot of people.
What do we got here in 1866? This is a big one.
1866, first transatlantic telegraph cable comes ashore at Hart's Content, Newfoundland, after being laid out 1,686 miles by Assembled Kingdom's Great Eastern Steamship.
Now,
See, this is what blows my mind, just to jump in. You know, and why I like this show. 1866 they did this? I had no idea it was that early.
and by this, think about it, okay? How do you lay cable? You literally,
off a ship.
well, yeah, but like they literally had a ship with a cable, and just like
Yeah.
spun it around, and you know,
Let
like
it-
they had to, like, you know, add, because, you know, they don't know how deep the ocean is, so like it just goes.
How do they have that much cable?
Yeah,
1,000 miles worth of cable.
yeah.
A bunch of ships
Like,
came out,
well-
what? I don't know.
Well, you know, 1,686 miles as the crow flies. We're not taking depth,
Yeah.
so maybe it's 3,000 miles of cable. You know.
Well, yeah, you
Just
may be
because of
going
depth.
over mountain ranges in there.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah, you know, like
Under the sea, I should say.
under the sea.
That would be
Yeah, the same.
there's got to be a documentary on it somewhere.
There has to be.
It'd be interesting to watch later.
Oh yeah, definitely. Ooh, here we go.
1866. Oh wait,
1880.
1880. Alexander P. Ashbourne patents a process for refining coconut oil.
Ah,
Refining coconut oil.
yeah. And for whatever
Right.
reason, this makes me think of Kamala.
Just for all of a coconut tree or
Yeah,
whatever?
yeah.
That's funny. I was just thinking that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
Her stupid saying is infiltrated into my brain.
That's the dumbest thing. You just fall out of a coconut tree. That was her mother or something.
Yeah.
Or something else she
But now
used
it's
to-
in my head.
Well, it was in both of ours, I guess. The first thing, coconut oil tree,
The deep-
falling out of a tree.
The deep state implanted things in my brain. Stop it! Stop it!
They did it within days.
Yeah. 1888.
1888. Philip Pratt unveils the first American electric tricycle.
And I looked up a picture for that while like taking into consideration different
I need to get me one of
ideas for
those.
thumbnails. But yeah, no, like look at this. The seat is up here. So
Oh, yeah.
so like, you know, you're
Yeah.
up there, and that's such a wild. And here's another thing, like they have a big wheel on one side and two small wheels on the other. That is interesting. You know, especially for turning. You know,
Yeah.
like how would that work?
Was hands? What is hand on a turning lever? You think, or is that would be a brake?
Uh,
I would think that would be turning.
well,
I don't know. Pulling a cable.
Looks like a brake.
look, maybe a brake, because it looks like his foot pedals, like much like a plane, the foot pedals would direct steering. You know, like
If
or
one
no.
works and one doesn't, stop pedaling one foot and just use the other one.
no, this is electric, so it's automatic. You don't
Oh,
need to
true,
pedal.
true.
I'm talking about, like, you know, like a gas or a brake pedal or something.
Yeah.
So like you know, there has to be a locomotion, there has to be a brake, or maybe what we see is the locomotion and the brake, because
Weird.
there wouldn't be a throttle, you know, not yet.
No, you're just gonna go.
Yeah,
You'd have to have a kill switch of some kind.
well, the on-off button,
That's what I mean.
like, or whatever. So, but this is a weird concept, like two small wheels on one side and one big wheel on the other. That is wild. That is really
Well,
weird.
it has to have something to do with, you know, obviously the big wheel is generating the power, so it's got to be as little as that turns. The other ones are going to turn quicker, move it along.
Well, no,
I
I'm-
think. I don't know.
Well, no, but that's not the first one. This is, you know, like the majority of the pictures upon looking it up is this one here. It's the two big wheels in the back and the one
Yeah.
small, like a normal
Yeah.
tricycle.
Yeah.
But I've never seen this set up. This is the only picture of
Weird.
its kind. So, like, you know, maybe that's like a different concept or something. This just looks like a straight up wheelchair. Actually, yeah, no, there's there's a small wheel in the back. It looks like
Yeah,
so. Huh?
that is weird.
Yeah.
Big wheel, but it's got to have something to do with steering. And the big wheels are for the drive, though,
Yeah.
because a little turn will get you going a longer ways. Yeah, if the big wheel turns a little bit, you're going to move farther than you would with those if they're all smaller wheels.
Yeah, so it looks like you're in a constant battle to try to keep the wheels on the right straight, so you go straight. Otherwise, your default is going to be spinning around and going left.
Hey, we didn't put a kill switch in this. I'm stuck forever.
Hold on a second. Circular bike. No. Seriously, like here it is. Check this out.
Oh yeah, this one.
Let me bigger this here.
I love seeing like
This is so
engineers come
stupid.
up with this stuff, like impractical rides.
It's a bicycle. They're all welded together in a circle, and that's all it does. You pedal
Yeah.
and you go in a circle. Like,
That's awesome, man.
that is so dumb. But see, like,
I love it.
What are we gonna do? The first thing you do? How fast can we go, guys?
Yeah.
Keep it going, harder. Like the
Impractical
cops at Disneyland,
vehicles.
where no, turn that thing.
have you seen the video where like the guys in like it's a duck, but not it's like the cup thing,
Yeah.
but they fly off of the thing.
I have seen something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you showed me.
They're in a duck, but not a cup. But still, it's the same premise. It's just like, but like, how would you move this? You know, it is so impractically wide that you can't put this on any sort of a trailer. So
No.
you'd have to like disassemble it afterward.
I'm sure they brought in all the parts and assembled it there
Yeah.
just for the video.
But anyway, we got to continue on up here. 1890. Here we go. Dutch painter Vincent van Gogh. How do
Deletes
I
himself.
what?
Deletes himself
Well-
with a pew pew.
Well, he doesn't like instantly because he dies of injuries 2 days later, but he does utilize a gun to
Oh.
wound himself in Auvers-sur-Oise, and he dies of injuries 2 days later. So it's not an instantaneous self-deletion. So that's why I'm trying to figure out a YouTube-friendly, what
Yeah.
world we live in. Word.
Yeah.
And I have to on the spot come up with stupid ass euphemistic language. This is so dumb. Like, he shot himself. Cancel me. I don't care. He did. It's history.
Yeah.
Like, 1897, we have 14.75 inches or 37.5 centimeters of rainfall in Jewell, Maryland, which is a state 24-hour record. I'm not sure if it's been broken or not, but I mean, that's a lot. That's over a foot of rain.
a lot of
24
water.
hours. That's a lot of water.
Yeah, flood water.
What do we got here in 1909?
Oh, give me a.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry.
British ship SS Waratah was last seen en route from Durban to Cape Town. 1111. I'm having a stroke. 211 people on board are missing, and no trace of the ship was ever found. So, just disappeared. Yikes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And while that was happening, Orville Wright successfully tested the Wright Military Flyer, the world's first military airplane, making a record flight of 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 40 seconds, flying approximately 64 kilometers or 40 miles. And that's what we have for today's thumbnail.
When did they first fly? What do you remember? What
It was
year?
1904. It was 1907. When did Wright brothers fly? It was earlier than we thought. Than I thought, at least. 1903. Okay.
So this is 14 years later.
No, 6. 1903 to 1909.
Oh, well, I thought it was 17.
No, that's World War One. I'm
Oh,
talking about
okay.
1909.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Well, the progress they made in
6 years.
6 years.
6.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, from the
Jeez.
Wright Flyer to this. Look at the
Yeah.
That's 2 propellers. That's a big thing. But it was for reconnaissance. Aircraft were initially for reconnaissance.
Yeah.
But then
But that's pre-World War
One. Yeah. But the first aircraft to be used in war actually was in like this time. Like it was like 1908, 1909. During some Greek war or something, or like somewhere out in the Balkans, or like it was dirigibles. It was like blimps.
Oh.
And they were dropping bombs off of those while just casually floating above them,
Yeah.
like probably getting shot at by ground fire. Trying to pop the balloons. So,
Yeah.
but can you imagine just the hot air balloons that people go on vacation on? They just were set adrift, and you just like drop bombs from them like over the trenches, and that's how it first started. Crazy.
I have an interesting question. Like, how long did it take other nations to catch on and build their own plane? And who did it? What nation did it first?
That is a
And how
really
many
good
years?
question.
I was looking it up, and damn if I can find it. I just keep getting Wright brother stuff.
I mean, like, yeah, like, because as soon as one technology happens, especially if it can be used, for, warfare and everything, like, everybody else almost instantaneously goes after it.
Sure.
Because, the aircraft was, arguably the atom bomb of the early 19th century, or 20th century, or whatever it was. Like,
For dominance.
Same with guns,
Sure.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
like gunpowder. Sorry, yeah, gunpowder.
Pardon me, yeah, the invention of gunpowder and all that stuff, yeah.
Wasn't that the Chinese?
Yes.
Yes.
That was the Chinese, and then it
For
eventually
for
got...
fireworks.
Yeah.
True. There you go.
But it's really ironic that the Nobel Peace Prize, named after Alfred Nobel, what is his claim to fame? Inventing dynamite for easier blasting for mining, and we eventually figured out, hey, grenades.
We could use
You
this in
know?
war.
We can use this
Yeah.
to kill people.
Yeah.
Awesome,
Yeah. Well, I mean, people literally used to, like, in the Old West, they lit sticks of dynamite and just, threw it like grenades.
Yeah.
You can do that in Red Dead Redemption,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
But yeah, no, like, they're obviously in World War One. The British had their own, like, their planes. The French had their airplanes. The Belgians, I think, maybe. I know the Germans did. I know we did. That's where we invented them. So.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because it's argued that
Germans almost invented jets.
yes, well, they did invent jets.
Well, you didn't go with
World
the
War II.
you didn't go with the idea.
Yeah, he didn't
There's
go with the
a-
idea, but they did
there-
still research it.
There was two options that I remember him. They saying that he could have gone with, and they're like he chose the other option, which is I don't know.
The big guns, like he was.
Yeah.
He wanted more of like the railway cannons. He wanted like the
Yeah.
Mouse, the Ratte. They did build like the V3 or V4 thing that you've heard about, the giant guns along the coast, the
Yeah.
buried guns.
Yep.
The huge ones.
Yep.
So
Brought rails up to them.
well, no. Like, I'm not talking about the railway guns. He had an entire thing
No,
of
I
like
know.
of guns, but they were buried in the ground. So okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm not.
was-
It's an obscure. I'm not sure if you know or not, but it's an obscure knowledge of the Atlantic Wall. Not it wasn't just
I've
defense.
seen the guns that you're talking about, the huge barrels they had.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about the railway guns. Those were
Yeah,
massive.
yeah.
Yes, those were indeed massive.
Well, I was thinking of railway guns to assemble them and to supply
Yeah.
them and all that.
No, there's a step further beyond that. He made even bigger guns that could not be mounted on. They're so massive, they could not be mounted on a railway. So they literally buried them in the ground.
Okay.
And they were meant to bombard over the English Channel into the British Isles
Yeah.
and deep into it. So it was beyond what the V2, the V1 and the V2 capability. Like the V3. Let me look this up actually here really quick. Hold on a second. That's the wrong button.
It is amazing the technology the Germans did have for war.
Right?
I think it
Figured
was
out to use war.
the gun, the V3 cannon. This is what I'm talking about. You see that? It's so massive. The entire barrel is resting along a hillside.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. No, I haven't seen that.
It was a German World War II large caliber gun working on the multi-charge principle, whereby secondary propellant charges are fired to add velocity to a projectile. So as it fires, and
Sinks
as
along
it's
the
going
way.
down the barrel, it
Other-
fires
yeah.
again, and more.
Gives it
So
boosters.
boom, 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 boom. Yeah. It was built in tunnels and was permanently aimed at London, England. The Germans planned to use the weapon to bombard London from two large bunkers in the Pas-de-Calais region of northern France, but they were rendered unusable by Allied bombing raids before completion. So these were bigger than the railway guns. They were
Yeah.
so big they had to utilize a hillside to rest the gun barrel on.
Right.
Like, it was because there was a V1, V2, which were the rockets, and this was the V3. The Vengeance Weapon 3. So, absolutely crazy. So that's what King is saying here. Hitler focused more on the big guns rather than new cutting edge. Not just propellants, but the next level of technology. He went with what was known, not with
Which was
the next
rocket
step.
propellant.
Yeah. Rocket. Well, rocket, yes, but jets specifically.
Yeah.
He wasn't really going with the jets and
Yeah,
everything.
big mistake.
Yeah. So, but what do we got here in 1917?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 1917. World War One. Allied troops reached the Yesteryear Canal in prelude up to the Battle of Passchendaele.
And the Battle of Passchendaele, one of the larger, more known battles
Passchendaele.
of World War One. There's actually a movie I'd like to see, King, called Passchendaele, and it was fought. The Allied forces were primarily, I believe, Canadian. So it was the Canadian infantry versus the
Put it
German.
in, put it in movies before you forget.
All right, let's see here. Passchendaele. Why can't you spell Passchendaele? Wiki.
There it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to find specifically the wiki.
Oh.
So, yeah, let me put that in the movie nights section really quick here. That was the wrong button. Where's movie nights? There you are. Ba-doop. All right, definitely gotta watch that. I've seen like a scene of it, and it's brutal. Anyway, moving on up to 1918, TOCNS 200, the first concrete barge in the U.S., launched to carry oil in New York. Now, what's a concrete barge, you may ask? Well, it's a barge made of concrete.
Excellent.
Yeah. But wouldn't that sink? Not if you know buoyancy.
That's
You
right.
know? Yeah.
Absolutely right.
You know, you can make something out of the
As long as you can
heaviest.
displace.
Yeah. You know, you can make a floatable, vessel out of the heaviest, most densest material known to man, as long as this volume is like, what is it? Less than the amount it displaces.
I don't know
Or
the
something.
equation, but as long as it displaces properly,
Yeah.
it'll float.
It'll float. Yeah. So, and yeah, this was to carry oil. So, like, oil is a liquid.
Yeah.
Liquid is heavy. You
Yeah.
know, you can't really carry too much on a wooden ship. Or so you just make a big ass slab of concrete, and you can travel down like a calm river. It'll just sit it there.
Yeah.
Now, you'd think to transport oil naturally floats. But that would cause massive, environmental disasters, and I was suggesting just dump the oil in the river and just let it float itself down.
Down there.
but no, the environmentalists wouldn't be too happy about that. But what do we got here in 1919? Oh, this one's rough.
Ooh, a race riot. 15
Yeah.
whites and 23 blacks killed. 500 injured.
Yeah, big one. So up in Chicago. Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yikes. So that's this next one's pretty cool.
Shoot.
1920.
1920 radio compass used for the first time for aircraft aviation navigation.
Navigation. All right. So like
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a breakthrough.
Yep. 1921, Frederick Banting and Charles Best isolate insulin at the University of Toronto.
That's
Insulin.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
huge right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Insulin's like an artificial sugar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is
To balance your body. Saves a lot of lives.
yeah, it really helps with diabetics and all that stuff. But like the best way to combat diabetes is self-control. Like if people can just learn like accountability for their actions, self-control, then they won't even get diabetes. Don't eat a bunch of crap. Like it's literally so easy to not do something. Like,
Well, it doesn't go for everybody. I believe you can be born with as a diabetic. Don't quote me on that, but I believe you can.
you can. So then you're just kind of screwed. So not screwed, but your hand is forced. So,
Yeah.
like
In fact, I
oh well.
had
Like,
a couple of twins that were cousins that were taking insulin from a very young age.
that's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We got that. 1922, International Geographical Union formed in Brussels. Okay. I believe that they just like geograph the planet. Just information, all that stuff. 1924, the 7th Summer Olympic Games closed in Paris, France. Aren't they in Paris again? Or they're
Yeah,
in
the
France.
opening day was yesterday. I haven't seen
Yeah.
any of it, but yeah, it just opened.
I heard that the opening is incredibly satanic, like the rituals and all that stuff.
I have no idea.
You remember, but like the 2018 Olympics or whatever, like they came out like they during the show they had all these children in hospital beds and all that stuff, and it was, like, people are like, oh hey, they're telling us that COVID's coming out, and all that conspiracy stuff started spreading from there. Yeah, no, like hold on a second.
Well, the last Olympics would have been in the 20s during COVID, I guess. Yeah, I think they may have postponed them a year. In Japan. Now that I'm thinking about
Well, no, before that. The London 2012 opening ceremony is the one I'm thinking of.
I have no idea.
Well, that's what it says here. Let me
Okay.
see if I can find it. Because it was weird. Like they came out like all these nurses wheeling children in hospital beds around like the entire stage area. I'm trying to find it, but this doesn't seem to have it. Wait a minute. No. Hold on a second. Olympics, hospital beds. Let's see here. I can't. Oh, here it is. Okay, so it was. They're saying it's something about children's literature, but I don't know what children being on hospital beds has to do with children's literature. But yeah, can you see it here?
Yeah.
Like they're all
Barely.
singing and dancing. They're in hospital beds and everything, and they're wheeling them around.
Yeah.
And this was 2012. Like, and they had the big Grim Reaper right up there. Like, it's weird. What does this have anything to do with the Olympics?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember it at all. But then again, I haven't seen many open or closing ceremonies.
Yeah. But there's a whole thing around that and the whole,
Huh.
COVID-19
That is a
thing.
weird premise.
They
Whatever.
they
whatever it
insert
is.
these things like, I think this is my opinion, my crazy opinion. Just call me crazy. Every now and then at these shows, or like a football halftime show, if everybody remembers, not too like I was saying 2 years ago, where everybody was on blocks and it looked like a fighting battleground. Everybody was on like a stage floating up in the air, and I just every once in a while they insert these like rituals. I think it looks. I'm sorry, it looks like a ritual to me. Call me crazy.
Yeah.
Every now and then they'll do real regular shows, and every now and then like, oh, okay, now we'll do it right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, well, it wasn't nothing. That's I know it looks like a ritual, but it's not a ritual. Like, you guys keep doing it though.
Well, it's not just that. It's like, practically every concert ever, especially with like Eminem and Beyonce and Taylor Swift, and I mean, like, you look at like this was a long time ago, but like what was that the Disney boy band or whatever, where like they always like have like cream cannons or whatever, or like foam guns or something, and they foam everybody in the audience within like the first like 10 rows or whatever, like, and people compared
the
that
South
to
Park episode.
but didn't they do that actually? Like,
Yeah, it's not. South Park doesn't, make up lies. They tell the truth, which
Yeah.
they did that.
yeah, so like, there's there could be and there could not be, like, I'm not here to say that I'm 100% on board with any, as I always say, like, I believe in some parts every possible contingency within reason, but I mean, with how things are, what little we know, Sir King, like, I can't argue against any thought that, like, they sneak in these little ritualistic things and whatnot, because it's all about indoctrination. Like what is media, what is entertainment, what is program? You are being programmed, like, so. What do we got here in 1927?
1927, Mel Ott, 18, hits the first league home run inside the park.
All right, Mel Ott.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks mad. Well, I'd be mad too with those ears. So, yeah.
1928, cricket leg spinner Titch Freeman becomes only bowler ever to take 200 first-class wickets before the end of July. Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Cricket.
Cricket. Huh. Good luck.
1929, Dyke of Wearing Germerpolder finished.
All right. Cool.
Man, what a word.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. It's a tongue twister. 1931, grasshoppers in Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota destroyed 1,000 acres of crops.
Yikes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's a locust invasion right there. Grasshoppers.
Locust
is a species of grasshopper, yeah.
Yeah, and that happens
Oh,
every
boy.
so many years.
Yeah.
How do you see that and be like, okay,
Apparently,
let's go. Like, start the rapture, huh?
apparently this past summer was supposed to be a cicada superstorm or something. Like,
I heard, yes.
I remember hearing
Yeah.
something about that, yeah.
yeah, they're like, oh my god, you're gonna have like, more cicadas than the past 80 years combined or something crazy. It's just like, okay, so what do you want us to do? Like,
Yeah.
like the end of the world
Want
is
you to
coming. What do you
panic?
want me to do? Panic? Like,
Well, with the locusts, I used a term when you were a young lad, and someone would ask me, is anybody going to eat that food? I said, yeah, just leave it out for the locusts.
Yeah.
You and your friends will eat anything.
yeah, yeah. Moving on up to 1935, we have floods at the Yangtze, Jiang, and Huang killed 200,000 people. That's China, so another China. So yikes. 5 years later, 1940, Billboard magazine started publishing bestseller charts. So like the Billboard top this, top that. This is where it all started. While that was happening, Bugs Bunny of Warner Brothers, cartoon character created by Tex Avery, Bob Gibbons, Looney Tunes and Merry Melody series, first debuted in Wild Hair. So happy birthday, Bugs Bunny.
Dip, dip, dip.
Nice.
That's all, folks.
That's Porky Pig.
Oh. Don't know my cartoons, do I? You're right.
Were they even in the same thing?
I have no idea.
Bugs
Not a
Bunny.
cartoon
Porky
guy.
Pig. Porky Pig's a Looney Tune.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. Okay. 1941, 103 degrees Fahrenheit, highest temperature ever recorded in Cleveland in July. That's toasty.
Wow.
Yeah. Now these next two 41s, this is really interesting. 41, German army enters Ukraine. All right, so we all know about the Germany and how they invaded all of Europe and all that stuff. But same day, same year, Japanese forces landed in Indochina. That's a big. So that's kind of, and
Same day. Jeez, that's weird.
I'm pretty sure by this time they were allied in the Axis powers. Italy, Germany, and Japan. The big three of the Axis powers. I'm fairly certain that they were. So I'm not sure if they planned this, like to open up more war fronts for both, or if they just so happened to coincidentally, as allies, open up, two things. I mean, Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe, so that's a pretty significant thing for Germany to invade. But then, Japan opening up Indochina, at the same day.
Yeah.
That is, that is
the old thing. There's never a coincidence.
Yeah, but would they be?
I don't know. It's a good question. I have no idea.
I don't know.
It's just really strange.
Yeah. What do we got here in 1943?
1943, 772 British bombers attack Hamburg.
That's a lot. Think about it. 772. Like, have you ever seen that many aircraft at once in your whole life?
No.
No. And those
That's
are all
insane.
bombers. Like, it was war, man. Like, just like.
Yep.
Scorched earth.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
1944, first British jet fighter used in combat. Gloucester Meteor. What's that look like?
Let's take a look here. Gloucester Meteor. I don't want the Wikipedia. I want images. So let me get rid of all these. Actually, there we go. All right. Oh wow. That's not bad. Oh, it's 1944.
Pretty slick.
That looks.
Yeah,
that
I get the
looks pretty recent.
1944 version. There we go.
Okay. That's the same thing. Still,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Looks pretty
Yeah.
modern for 44.
Pretty slick.
know.
Yeah, it's pretty modern, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, nice,
mean-
small, and sleek.
Yeah.
With jet engines.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
What was really interesting is, let's see here if I can find
Yeah, it
it.
looks too modern for 44. It could be all wet. Who knows?
What's really interesting is they used to put fake propellers on the nose. I'm trying to find a picture of this. Because, you know, like obviously Germany had air reconnaissance too.
Yeah.
You know, so they didn't want Germans to know that this was. I think this is. No, that's not a jet engine. So this is one version. This is propeller driven here, but they didn't want the Germans to know that that they had
They're jets.
so
Yeah.
so what they did was they and I can't find a picture of it, but like they blocked up the actual jets as soon as this stupid picture loads up here, like this, and they made it more rounded to make it look like, you know, external fuel
Yeah.
tanks.
Yeah.
And then they put a propeller on the nose to make it look like it was propeller driven.
Yeah.
So, you know, really intriguing. You know, I don't know why I can't find a picture.
Well,
of
what we
this.
never talk about in war is deception
Yeah,
and how important
Yeah.
it is.
yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I'm
Yeah.
wearing deception on, you know, my pants are camouflage. So,
And yet I can still see you. It's not a pretty picture either. No.
anyway, 1944 as well, the Soviet Army freed Mazhindanek concentration camp. All right. 1945, the U.S. Communist Party forms. Yeah. So, which is really interesting because, like, we were watching. You know, we've all watched Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And they made a whole big deal about whether or not his wife was still a member of the Communist Party and all that stuff. Well, then who was she a member of if the Communist Party didn't form until 45? And if she was part of some communist whatever, you know, they were talking about in like the early to mid 30s. Because remember, she was like, you know, oh, blah, blah, 17 years ago, 18 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, well, 18 years before 45, you know, we're talking like...
But you could still be a
30.
communist before the
yeah,
party
but what
was
party?
formed.
But no, but she was an official member. Remember?
I don't remember.
They're
that
talking about
much detail.
like she gave them money and then she got a card. So there was an establishment.
That's right.
So, but what establishment was it if it wasn't the U.S. Communist Party? If this is saying it didn't form until 45, because you know by then, you know, 45, 46, you know, is about the time of the hearings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they bounced around all over the place in the timeline in that movie. There's like, you know, 2-3 timelines going on at the same time. You
Well,
know?
it was definitely before 45.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that makes me wonder, what entity were they part of? The Soviet Union? You know?
Not
like,
a clue.
I don't know. 1946. We got some baseball here for good old King if he wants.
1960.
46.
Oh, Yogi.
1946, Boston Red Sox, Rudy York hits 2 grand slams in one game, gets 10 RBIs.
All right. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1947, New York Yankees catchers Yogi Berra starts a record 148 games errorless streak.
Wow.
Nice.
Nice.
I really love yogiisms.
Yeah. Yeah, yogiisms, which, by the way, if people don't really know, like, here, let's, yogiisms. Like, they're quotes from him.
Yeah.
Like, swing at the strikes. Little League Baseball is a very good thing because it keeps the parents off the streets.
Yeah.
Let's see, my ambition is to hit .400 and talk 1.0. Whatever that means.
1,000, yeah.
All pitchers are liars or crybabies. Oh, I'm not really much of a baseball guy, so I wouldn't get some of these. What difference does a uniform make? You don't hit with it. Okay?
Oh, okay. You don't hit without it, I guess.
You don't hit with it.
Oh. I don't know. That's a hard one to understand.
So I'm ugly. I never saw anyone hit with his face. Yeah, but they're like a bunch of he said weird little quips.
Yeah.
It's like deja vu all over again. Okay, that I understand.
Yeah.
Pair up in 3. What?
Pair up in 3.
Yeah. Anyway, what do we got here in 1949?
1949, de Havilland Comet, the world's first commercial jet airliner, makes its maiden flight.
Ooh, what does that
Alright.
one look like?
Commercial flight.
The Havilland Comet. Huh. Actually, hold on a second. 1949? Because there could be a newer version of it. Okay, here we go. Okay, it has like 2 smaller jet engines on either side.
That looks way too modern though for 49.
It says here 49.
Oh,
Like,
I guess.
like here's another picture. You can kind of see it here. Here's
That
a
looks more
painting
like
of it.
That looks more like it.
It's the same one.
Wow. Yeah,
Yep.
the other one just looks far more modern. That one looks far more. I guess
It's just
same
the
thing,
angle.
Just the paint.
It looks like it's got little planes.
Well, maybe it's maybe it's these abutments here, like whatever these because the other ones do not have that extra thing on their wing.
Also, I'm surprised that they're doing jet engines. That's the other thing that surprises me.
Huh.
Because most of the original, I believe, was props.
Well, yeah, but
Not,
I mean,
not jets. Jets came later. I mean, the technology was there, but the original.
well, jets got into the mainstream in the 50s, but that technology had to come, from somewhere. It didn't just appear. So from 1945 until like 1953, 54, 55, 8, 9, 10 years, like, then the technology has gone through enough R&D to make it commercially viable.
Well, I remember back, and this is the early 50s, so I was maybe 7, 8 years old, going up to Canada on a prop, not a jet.
Well, jets were also like, still like, cutting edge technology, brand new.
It was around, but it wasn't used commercially
Yeah.
yet. So that was in the 50s, and this was 49. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
Well,
to
this
see
is for
jets
like
on
the upper class. Like if you're gonna fly on a jet in 49, that's gonna be like the upper crust, because that's a jet is faster than a conventional aircraft.
it. Yeah. No. Well,
So
49. By whenever I went, I was way after 49, obviously, because I have a memory
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
That makes money for commercial airlines. They get there faster, less fuel consumed, and everything else.
Yeah.
So maybe we got on a cheapo flight. It was still one of the few left props.
Well,
I don't know all of that.
I didn't want to really bring that up, but our family's never really been like the upper echelons. No, seriously. So like,
Are you trying to say your grandmother always looked for a bargain?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that
I'm saying it.
well, you know her more than I would. But yeah. I mean, the technology was there, but like same thing with like more modern. An example would be the Concorde.
Yeah.
The technology is there. I never I never would travel by Concorde. By the time I took my first airplane trip, Concorde was done. Like,
Well, that's because of the problems it created.
well, still.
Had to break the sound barrier, noise,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Very uncomfortable. Passengers didn't like it, even though it got them there fast.
But
I've
exactly.
only known one person that rode the Concorde.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like the interior of this, wasn't high class or anything. It was just I think the pure aspect was speed, like.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Hold on, let's look at the interior. Come on. Interior. Okay, so this is what it looked like on the inside, I guess. Like, so like that's not too fancy. There's not even a tray table.
Well, that certainly looks mid-century, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like here's economy class. So, man, they fit twice as many seats in there today, don't they?
Yeah.
Like look at that.
Yeah.
That you have acres of room in those chairs. Man, that is luxury right there. So, but the overhead bins didn't have doors. You see, they were just shelves.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fall on you, great.
Anyway, moving on up. 1950, U.S. President Harry Truman promised aid to Taiwan.
Ooh.
All right. Unfortunately, I don't think we really followed through with that. 1952, Swedish race walker John Michelsen made it back-to-back gold, or makes it back-to-back gold medals in the 10K event at the Helsinki Olympics, having won the corresponding race in London in 1948. Okay, so he won, he won the Olympics before, and he won it again.
Yeah.
Cool. 53, Dizzy Dean, Al Simmons, Sheaf Bender, Bobby Wallace, Harry Wright, Ed Barrow, Bill Clem, and Tom Connolly inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. All right.
Yeah. I just vaguely remember Dizzy Dean.
We also have we got that one. North Korea United Nations sign armistice to stop fighting and divide Korea at the 38th parallel.
Yeah.
So that's a ceasefire, not an end of the war.
Right. No, there's still a war technically.
So yes, and by extension, so are we.
True.
With North Korea, which I've brought this up before several times on the show, and I'll bring it up again. The aspect of Trump, stepping over that line that one time, just impromptu. That was the leader of at war. They had not just the leader of an opposing nation that they're actively at war with, but the leader of the free world.
Yeah.
They could have taken him, shot him, all that stuff. He was on their land, and nothing.
He was just also invited over. I mean, they met there.
Well,
he didn't just walk over.
Yeah, but
It was impromptu.
He's like the
Hey,
only
I'm
president
here,
that's
let's
been
set
over
this
there
up. So it's
in,
totally
like,
set up.
generations.
sorry, what, King?
Isn't he the only president that's been over there in like generations?
I think he's
North
the only
Korea?
president that's been there. Period.
Not only that, he was the first president to talk directly,
To Kim Jong Un.
or the father.
Yeah.
or
Kim
the
Il Sung.
grandfather, any of them.
Yeah.
I mean, no president ever talked directly with
The
a leader
leader.
of North Korea. He was the first. He says, "What the hell? We got to talk." So he said, "Let me talk to him."
Yeah.
And he's right to a point.
Yeah. I mean, as we showcased the other day, that Doctor Who clip, sit down and talk.
Yeah.
So, what do we got here? You have another 53, good Sir King.
1953, Vatican disallows priest holiday work in factory.
All right, so they have to work.
Yeah.
Oh, we got another one here. I wonder if this is in conjunction with what just happened in 53.
1954, armistice divides Vietnam into two countries.
Armistice.
Armistice.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Oh, that is a prelude. Absolutely.
Yeah. But a little weird that happened on the same, just 1 year later, the same date as
date. Yeah.
as when Korea was divided. Just
what
1
if
year
these
later.
are planned? Well,
That's
great,
why I
let's
say.
do it. Let's do it the same day. Okay.
Well, that's why I say, humans are funny little creatures. They like to do things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the end of World War I, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month.
Yeah.
It was exactly, because probably not exactly to the hour, but to the day. World War I broke out on November 11th in 1914, and then it ended November 11th, 1918.
Yeah.
4 years. Exactly. Not 4 years and a day or 3 years and 362 days. 4 years on the dot. They like doing things like that.
That's planned, obviously.
Yeah.
This may have been.
Yeah.
Let's do it the same day.
Yeah.
Work for them. Let's make it work for us.
Yeah. Well, it didn't work for us too well.
No.
What else do we got here?
June 1955, Australia regains full independence after 4 power occupations since World War II.
Austria.
Austria.
No, not Australia. Which, that's,
Easy mistake.
so many people, it's just one L, Australia. Yeah, well, there's an A and an L before the last IA.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, so, but man, 4 power, so, the Germans, the Russians, the Allies, Austria, or I guess the Italians at one point. I'm not sure. But yeah, but during World War II, they had 4 different powers occupying and controlling them. Talk about getting kicked around like a doorknob, Got a baseball one in '59. Yeah, two of them actually.
1959, Albus Ali Beg scores 112 for Indian versus England on debut.
That's
my God.
cricket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You had to do that to me, didn't you, King?
Yeah, that was not even on the main
Yeah.
script. That was 100%
Man,
him.
I'm hurting now. Twice in one day. Cricket.
I have backup.
1959, baseball's new Continental League is formally announced by attorney William Shea. Teams in Denver, Colorado, Houston, Texas, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota, New York City, and Toronto, Ontario are confirmed, with 3 more to be named after.
All
I
right.
don't even remember this. Wow. Huh. How long did that league last? Excuse me.
Continental League. Let's see here. Continental League. Continental League, professional baseball. Let's see, history, background, new Continental League, yada yada. The league disbands 1960. That didn't last long.
No.
No.
I didn't make it a year, or a year anyways. I guess they made it.
Well, what's interesting is that the very next one, I wonder if this ties in to what we just read. King?
Read it and find out.
Oh, sorry. 1959, William Shea announces plan to have a baseball team in New York City in 1961.
Yeah, so like the Continental League was talking about schedule to begin play in the 1961 season. And we're just talking about 3 more to... pardon me, 3 more to be named later. So what if one of those 3 was this one?
Well, what they would do to combat the new league is start opening up new ball clubs in cities that they want to open up in, and then it's hard for them to compete.
So you're saying that this was a move against this, not as part of
it.
this.
Against it, yeah.
Well, I was just wondering because this has 3 more to be named later, and this doesn't say which league he's in either.
Well, that's true.
So that's what I'm saying. This is for 1961. This league is aimed for 1961.
61 could be the Mets.
Maybe. William
That's-
Shea, who
Oh, Shea Stadium?
William Shea, yeah,
Yeah.
announces plans to have a baseball team in New York City in 1961.
It's got to be the Mets in Shea Stadium.
Okay, were the Mets part of the Continental League?
No.
So this
no,
was
no,
an
no.
this was an
Yeah,
opposition
this is
move.
to stifle it.
Okay. Hey, we figured it out. Thank you.
Yeah.
1962, Martin Luther King Jr. was jailed in Albany, Georgia. Yeah. 65, President Lyndon B. Johnson, boo, signed a bill requiring cigarette makers to print health warnings on all cigarette packages about the effects of smoking. I mean, I can't argue against that.
No.
You know, like people should be made
And
aware.
at first they had to water it down. Smoking may be hazardous to your health. Maybe.
What did I just do? I just let loose a great cloud of mighty, I don't give a
Nicotine.
crappery. But we got another Johnson here. In 1967, Lyndon B. Johnson set up a commission to study cause of urban violence. Welfare. That's what's the cause of urban violence. Get the government the hell out of everybody's individual little
He,
business.
I think, initiated more things than any other presidents that still affect us today.
Hey, if you get the man out of the family, we'll give you more money.
Yeah.
Everything's backwards. Just backwards.
By design.
The
You
most
know?
important
By
thing is
design.
a unified family to raise your children.
I mean, like
that
on
is the most important thing.
On BLM's website, did they not, for a while, broadcast one of their bullet points as the reason why they exist and the whole, what they're doing is to destroy the nuclear family? Like that was one of the things. Like one of their main goals is destroy the family structure. Like it had it written on black and white on their website, and then they took it off at some point. But it was there.
They
you know?
and the rest of the Communist Party are following Saul Lewinsky's to a T. The book he wrote, How to Bring Down the United States from Within. I can't remember the name of the book, but it's incredible. They just following it step by step by step, and one of them is breaking down the
Yeah,
family.
well, like there's this one video talking about like how to destroy this country from within, yada yada, like bring in Satanism, like make people like question the church, like there's this whole thing. Like I'm not trying to push any religious anything. I'm just quoting what the video said. And it's very interesting.
That sounds like Saul Lewinsky. I wish I
Because.
could remember the name of
Because it's an old video, it's in black and white, like it's from a hell of a long time ago, and he's talking and laying out things that are exactly what happened and what we're
Power of
doing.
the devil.
Saul Lewinsky
You know?
from back in the late '60s. That's when I was first aware of him. So that's quite a while ago.
Maybe it's the same guy. I don't know.
I don't know what you read, but yeah.
Well,
could be.
it was a video. Like what do you say, Saul Lewinsky?
Yeah.
If I were the devil.
If I were the devil. This sounds very familiar. If I were the devil, Paul Harvey. Yeah.
Yes.
Paul Harvey
A
was
warning
the-
from 1965.
Oh, how long is that?
3:17. Let me play it really quick here. So let me pause this
If you
music.
don't mind, I'd love to hear.
I will. I do not mind at all. I actually wanted to play this.
If I were the devil, if I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree, thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions, just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing. Paul Harvey.
But I mean, like,
Hold on.
is
I like
that
to
not
emphasize that was made in 1965.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
One of the first lines he says, and this just went right to the heart for me. Very simple line, unnoticed. Raise a generation of do as I please. Right in 65, what took hold? The hippy-dippy generation, free love, all of that.
Yeah.
Do as you please.
And coinciding with that, all the stories that you've said.
Yeah.
You know, like your
boom,
experiences.
That just hit me. Holy cow. Of course,
Yeah, but then like
Everything else coordinates to years, but it comes after that comes and comes and comes, and it keeps building on itself.
But I mean, like if anybody needs to, go rewatch the video, rewind this one if you need to, if you're watching live or whatever. But 65.
Yeah.
Okay. Now look at the world around you.
Yeah.
Everybody is so engrossed in social media, in getting validation, and getting content clicks, and getting likes, and getting subscribers, followers, and all that stuff.
Well, it has flip-flopped.
But now everybody is this disease has gotten so rampant that it's not just the media companies poisoning us.
Yeah.
We're poisoning ourselves.
Yeah.
We're poisoning ourselves with the very things that the media company does to poison us. We're doing it to ourselves.
Yeah.
What
has flip-flopped is back then the attitude was, I'm okay, you're okay, and all is good, and we can do whatever we want. Now the attitude is, I'm okay, you're not. Hence all the hate and everything else. But it's still all a birth out of all that whole thing, out of the 65. Unbelievable how fast everything changed from 64 through 65 into 66. It was full blown.
Yeah. Let's move on up here to 1970. Lou Bourdieu, Earl Combs, Ford Frick, what a name, Frick, and Jesse Haynes are inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. All right.
Congrats.
Yeah. 72. The F-15 Eagle flew for the first time.
Woohoo!
The F-15 Eagle. Let's take a look at this bird. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a military jet with military jet capabilities. Qualities. There's one. It's refueling over here. So cool. That looks really boxy. You know?
It's almost the prelude to stealth design.
A little bit, yeah.
And I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's what it looks like,
Yeah. Well, the color and the angles a little bit.
Well, the wing dimension is what I'm looking at.
I mean, wings look like wings, but I see what you're getting at is.
Yeah.
And that's 72. That's
It's
about
not. It just looks like a prelude to it,
Well, I think this is around the same time they were, because wasn't the SR-71 like the early 80s and all that stuff, and the stealth bomber and all that whatnot? 73, Walter Bloom became the 6th jockey to ride 4,000 winners. All right, that's a lot.
So who was the first? Great for the 4th, but who was the first?
This was a 6th.
6th, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't matter. Don't care.
Yeah, I could look it up here, but we're already at an hour and a half here.
Wow.
So, 1974, House Judiciary Committee voted 27 to 11 recommends Nixon impeachment. I wonder who that 11 are.
Yeah.
Die Hard. Like Nixon rhinos of the day.
Someone brought up a good point. He was in his second term, one of the most popular presidents to be elected at that time. How do you go from that to wanting to impeach him? And the question was he set up? I have no idea, but I never even considered anything like that.
Well, we spoke about that just earlier in the show. Maximilian Robespierre. How did he go from being called an incorruptible patriot to being called a tyrant and then beheaded by guillotine?
True.
Within 2 years.
Well, that's the French for you.
Parlez du français? What do we got here in 75, Sir King?
1975, the British government closed its consulate in Angola following increasing fighting between the Popular Movement for the Liberation of Angola and South African troops.
Huh. Wonder what that's all about.
1976, former Beatle John Lennon is granted a green card for permanent residence in the U.S. All right. USA. 1978, Cleveland Indians Dwayne Cooper is third MLB history to hit 2 base-loaded triples in a game at Yankee Stadium.
Wow, that's
really
cashing in your
unusual.
chips right there.
Triples are unusual to begin with. The bases loaded in the same game. That's really unusual.
So that's like a lot of points, right?
Well, 3 Grand Slams 4, a triple's 3.
Okay.
You end up on third base.
1980, a Palestinian threw a hand grenade on Jewish children in Antwerp, resulting in 1 death. What the hell? Why are you throwing grenades at children? What's wrong with you? Don't throw grenades at children. Trevor, don't pull the pins out of the grenades. You know?
Trevor.
We have to be even.
We have to be even.
For anyone who doesn't know, that's Whitest Kids You Know. Like, there's this one skit where, like, well, let me just, like, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll just play the grenade part. But WKUK grenade. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
It's not the best quality here. But like, you know, like the premise is like, you know, all three of these guys are all brothers, and you know how brothers like horse around and all that stuff.
Your gun.
So,
Watch your gun.
so now they're fighting.
Stop hitting me. We have to. Stop! Both of you! Shut out! What are you hitting me for? I helped you. Shut up! I'm taking the pins out of your grenades. I'm taking the pins.
I'm taking the pins out of your grenades.
Don't take the pins off his grenade.
And see, it didn't kill him, so you know it's YouTube acceptable. But yeah, no, Trevor, don't pull it. Don't throw grenades at children. What the hell's wrong with you?
Taking your pins out. I'm taking your pins out.
God. 1983, we have a German record, 140 degrees Fahrenheit or 40.3 degrees Celsius in Garmersdorf. I didn't realize it get that hot in Germany. That's hot. 104? Yikes.
It's a lot.
83 as well, Gaylord Perry joined Nolan Ryan and Steve Carlton to reach 3,500 career strikeouts, also winning his first game as a Kansas City Royal. Ooh, look at you. Good stuff. Yeah.
Fireball Ryland.
Nolan Ryan?
Nolan Ryland.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nolan.
Yeah. We got some more baseball here. 84 for good old King.
1984, Reds Pete Rose collects record 3,503rd career single versus Philadelphia.
All right.
Hey, I'm sorry what he did, gambling on his own team as
yeah.
a manager. Bad. Okay. Ban him from baseball, fine. Put the guy in the Hall of Fame. He did fantastic things when he was a player. I'm sorry. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. Not banned from history.
You know, they should have...
It's not like he's doping or nothing, you know.
You know, like, maybe they should make, like, because you know, like, once you open the gay, you know, concept, but he should and he should not. Like, he should for his accomplishments, but he should suffer from his stupidity. But at the very least, he should have, like, there should be a section of, like, dumb people, you know, I guess, in the Hall of Fame. Like,
the reason why I say that, not banned from history, from baseball, yeah. History is history. Now, if you want to include him being banned, fine. But he did so many things, so many records and things like that in his playing days, not when he was managing, but in his playing days. He should be in there as part of history. And then include the bad stuff, too. I don't care.
How about a recognized unrecognizable? Like... Because he's unrecognizable, but we can recognize what he did before all the gambling stuff, you know? Like, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, because you have a point, but I can't override, like, either, you know, they're both valid. Yeah. But in the very least, he should be in the Hall of Fame, but not as, you know, equal to all the other people, but he should be in his own little section.
You got to include all history.
Yes.
You can't be selective.
But the Hall of Fame is not a historical center, it's a Hall of Fame. The fact that it covers history stuff is just a byproduct.
But it is the avenue for history in the league.
Of people who earned that thing, and Nolan Ryan? No, Pete Rose's actions disqualified him, you know, from
he was barred from baseball, yes.
Yeah. Well,
so do you bar him from history?
Well, I see where you're going, and I'm leaning more towards your argument. Because, like, you know, yeah, he's barred from baseball, okay, but he should not be barred from the Hall of Fame. So, okay, then I'll give you that. So,
fair enough.
Yeah. What else do we got here? 85.
1985, Ingrid Christiansen of Norway becomes first woman to run 10,000 meters in under 31 minutes, takes world record down to 30
minutes.
hours, 59 minutes and 42 seconds.
30 minutes, 59.42 seconds. Remember, she was under 31 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not 30
sorry.
hours. So, but yeah,
30 minutes.
just underneath
59
31 minutes. So nice.
10,000 meters? Whoa.
Wait, what is 10,000 meters?
Well, I don't know. You'd have to go back and see how
What's
many
that in American number?
Freedom
miles
units.
in a meter.
Yeah, freedom units.
10,000 meters.
In miles.
Okay, let's see here. 10,000 meters to miles. Okay, let's see here. Calculate. 10,000 meters to
Calculating.
miles. 6.2 miles.
6.2.
Okay, so 6.2 miles in 30 minutes. That's not bad.
Wow, that seems like a long time for something's wrong. It's not going to take you 6 miles. It's not going to take you 30 minutes. I mean, there's a 3-minute mile barrier that they broke, so now you're not going to keep that pace for 6 miles, but should be able to do it in 20, 25 minutes at most.
Well,
Of course, this is back in the day. What year was that? No, it wasn't that
well,
far back.
but also we're not accounting elevation. You know, like what if the course wasn't all flat? What if there was a lot of uphills?
Well, yeah, you don't know.
You know, so anyway, 1986, an Iraqi fighter jet, or several Iraqi fighter jets, attacked the central Iranian city of Iraq, forcing Iran to threaten a missile attack on Gulf states supporting Iraq. All right. 87, first expedited salvaging expedited, I guess, salvaging of Titanic wreck begins by RMS Titanic Inc. So, you know, they're salvaging, you know, whatever they can. And a lot of that stuff. Did you hear about the weird thing that happened recently in the Titanic Museum? Or like
No.
all of a sudden, like the whole area, because you know they have the expedition areas or exhibition areas, like you know, it just started flooding.
Huh.
Like it wasn't like they couldn't find out if it was like from a leaked water pipe. Like they had it on the source. The water just started appearing out of nowhere on the floor around like one of the exhibits.
weird.
But there wasn't any water line going in. It wasn't dripping from the ceiling. It wasn't coming from a wall. It just appeared and it flooded. You know the entire that entire section was all like
That is weird. No, I haven't heard anything about that.
wild. King, you saw that video. I saw the video watching, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. 1987 as well. Salt Lake City Trappers lost 7-5 to Billings Mustangs, ending their professional record-winning streak at 29 consecutive. That's pretty good.
I've never even heard of it. What is it? What
Salt Lake City Trappers. Let's see here.
is it? Baseball? What?
I don't know. Let's look that up here really quick. Minor league baseball team.
Okay.
Okay, so minor league.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Speaking of baseball, we got some 88 here for King if he wants.
1988 baseball star Tommy John commits record 3 errors on one play as Yanks rout Brewers 16-3.
Wow. That
Have you
sounds like massive screw up. How do you commit 3 errors on one play? That sounds horrible.
Throwing error and then maybe I don't know how you do all 3. There's all kinds of errors
Yeah.
that can happen.
Yeah.
But have you ever heard of Tommy John surgery?
No.
Okay. He tore whatever muscle in his arm,
Okay.
destroyed his career,
Uh-huh.
obviously. And so they took tendons from somewhere else in his body and attached it to his elbow,
Oh.
and he ended up pitching again.
Well, that's pretty cool.
It was called Tommy John surgery.
That's awesome.
So something out of baseball lives in infamy in his name.
Well, so does ALS.
So what?
So does Lou Gehrig's disease.
Okay.
So that's another medical thing.
But that saved him. The other one killed him. There's a little bit of difference.
Yeah.
One's good, one's not.
But I'm thinking, you know
But
what?
your name still lives
like,
on. You're right.
But that is remarkable how much like machines we are. We can just like take parts from one part of the body and put them somewhere else, and
Yeah.
it'll work more or less. Like you know, like we're not you know replacing anything. We're just
Well, they
we're-
are.
Well,
He tore it, and you can't. It's not replaceable.
well, I mean, like you know, like let's say if I lose my thumb, there have been people who've like lost their thumb, and then you know they take their big toe and then they just surgically transport it from their foot to their hand. So now they have their thumb again, but now they don't have their toe. You know, you're not like
Why didn't they put the bad thumb back on the toe? I love it when you think for a second. That's the look I'm going for.
You're an idiot. If he lost his thumb in a munitions incident, there would not be anything to put back there. Loon.
Oh, please move on.
1988, Boston's worst traffic jam in 30 years. I would hate to be there.
No kidding.
I was like, this traffic jam is unusual. Like, then
Yeah.
the next day, it was the worst traffic jam we've had in 30 years. Like, well, shit. Like, I should have just not gone to work. 1988 as well, Radio Shack announced the Tandy 1000 SL computer, whatever that is, so cool. Radio Shack making computers. Can you imagine? Like,
Radio Shack doesn't even exist anymore.
I know.
Does it?
No, I don't think so, but...
I know it's not around here, that's for sure.
But I mean, like, I remember, like, they used to not just sell things; they had their own manufacturing. They made their own computers,
their own product
radios,
lines,
batteries, all sorts of things.
I don't know if they made it, but they contracted with manufacturers to put their name on stuff.
Well, here it says they announced the Tandy 1000 computer, so they have to be making something.
That was, they can contract it out on behalf of the company.
Maybe.
Yeah, Tandy was Radio Shack for sure.
Yeah. Then 89, Atlanta Brave Dale Murphy was the 10th to get 6 RBIs in an inning. Specifically the 6th inning, I think. It says 6 here, so... All right. 1990, King?
1990. 1990, White Russia declares independence.
There was a whole thing between the whites and the reds, and stuff during the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Like, that government was falling. There was a power vacuum. Who's going to occupy it? Well, you have the whites, you have the reds. They were two, militant political parties. And
I don't remember the structure of that. Whites and reds and all that.
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
I don't know much either. I just know that they existed.
Little.
Well, like, I didn't know about it at the time. As a historian, we've reported on it,
right.
So, like, the whites versus the reds, like, in the 90s, all that stuff. Here we go. We have a stuck-up, self-centered actress here. King?
1990s, Zai Guyver begins a 3-day jail sentence for slapping a police officer in Beverly Hills.
It's called Raja Gabor.
Raja.
Like even when they do get sentenced, it's only 3 days for slapping. That's assault. If I do that, I'll get 6 months minimum. What the hell? Like. Anyway, 1991, TV Guide published its 2000th edition. All right. I remember using the TV Guide.
Yeah.
We all do. Like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what show's coming up? When's Rocco's Modern Life? When's Hey Arnold? Like, people these days don't know how luxurious they have. They have the thing. They just hit a button on the remote. Boom. I remember when that first became a thing. I almost lost my mind. It's like, holy crap!
Right.
Like, I can just hit a button and the TV Guide pops up right there. Whoa!
Yeah.
Like, I got a sports one, 92.
1992, Astros began 26th road trip to make room for a Republican National Convention.
Now that's weird. They made room, or they began a 26-game road trip to make room for the Republican National Convention. What the hell?
Well,
What did they have?
where the Astros played baseball, they leased it out to the Republican National Convention. So they planned a 26-day road trip so they could have the
vacate
stadium.
the property.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand now. I was just like, what the hell does that?
Yeah. A one-month road trip's a hell of a long road trip.
Yeah. What else do we got here?
1992, Dmitry Lipokov, Vladimir Saichenko, Vietnam Tainovich, and Eugene Sadov. You set me up on this one, didn't you?
No.
10:05 swim. World record 4 times 200 meters freestyle. 7 was that hours? minutes, 7 minutes.
7 minutes, 11.95 seconds.
I agree. That was a setup all the way.
No, it was. It was not. It's not on the main. I'm sorry, I didn't have the share screen script up to the same one. This is the one I meant for you to read. Sorry about that.
1992 Japanese swimmer Kyoko Iswaki begins 200-meter breaststroke, and Barcelona become the youngest to win an Olympic gold medal in 14 years and 6 days.
Now, can you imagine? Less than a week after you turn 14, you're getting a medal. You're not even that. You're participating in the Olympics.
Yeah, incredible.
Obviously, they knew about that ahead of time. So, could you imagine? Your 14th birthday is coming up, and in less than a week after that, you're going to be on the world stage competing. Like, that is some amazing.
And by 18, you're over the hill.
Yeah, by 18, unless you keep it up,
done.
So, another 92.
1992, Nelson Mandela says a general strike will go ahead and to protest the removal of South African President F.W. de Klerk from power and for free elections. Yeah, right.
So a strike will go ahead to protest for the removal. So they're protesting. They do want the removal of this guy.
Yeah.
So and they want free elections.
What a concept.
Yeah, and F.W. de Klerk was the proponent of. I keep saying this. I keep getting him confused with P.W. Botha. After being elected president later, de Klerk indicated in a famous speech that he favored dismantling apartheid. So he was against apartheid. That means president. Yeah. So Botha was the one before him, 89. Botha was the one for apartheid.
And he was one in a string of many.
Well, yes, but because of the initials F.W. de Klerk and P.W. Botha, and they're both old white balding men. The only difference is one of them had glasses, but that's the only distinguishing difference I have between those two. On paper, all I have are initials and the last name,
Well,
so I keep
all
getting them
white
confused.
bald guys look alike, so.
Well.
Oh, sorry for the pun.
Anyway, 1993, Mafia bombed historical buildings in Rome, Milan, and Vatican City, killing 5.
Ooh.
Mafia bombing Vatican. Wow,
Jeez.
What the hell? You'd think that'd be the last place. Mafia, aren't they usually like very religious? Like,
Yeah, the family.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
Yeah.
Where their kids all get what do you call
Baptized?
it? Baptized.
Yeah.
It's a biggie.
Yeah. So why would they be going around bombing the Vatican? That's crazy. Also in 93, NBC TV was awarded coverage of the 96 Olympics for $456 million. Wow. And
that's a bargain today.
Yeah. We also have the New York Met, Anthony Young ending his losing streak at 27 games. So I think we spoke about that the other day, about the beginning of his streak of 27 games losing streak. So, but what do we got here in 95?
1945 Korean War Veterans Memorial is dedicated in Washington, D.C.
We've been there. We checked that out.
The Korean
Memorial, yeah.
Trying to remember it. I know the Vietnam well.
Yeah, of course.
World War II well.
It's different.
I can't remember the Korean. Sure, I gotta remember
it's kind of like it's flat and it's not really like here it is like it's these the soldiers and the drapes.
Okay,
yeah, we've seen this.
Okay.
But it's not like the Vietnam is very rememberable. It's that wall.
Built-in wall. Yeah. Well,
This is just a bunch of statues out in like a field, and it's just like it's very forgettable, unfortunately.
My buddy's name.
I mean, very much like the war itself, it represents.
That was awesome. The way the Vietnam and the names all on it who died.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the Vietnam one here.
Yeah.
No, that's Korea.
I don't remember that.
No. This is the Korean War one.
Okay.
Korean War, they did a similar wall to Vietnam, but they had specifically the reflections of the soldiers. So you see, the soldiers, and then you see the names. Like, these are just people out in the field.
Yeah.
Like otherwise nameless. And the nameless ones, the soldier, the tomb of the unknown soldier, which we've been there too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Like.
All the same trip.
Yeah.
You saw the changing of the guard and the whole bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how precise that is.
Yeah.
It is something. The changing of the guard is something to see.
Oh yeah. '96, King.
1996, Brazilian pair Jackie Sylvia and Sandra Pierce win inaugural women's beach volleyball gold medal at Atlanta Olympics.
All right, and that's in there because that's the first time beach volleyball was an Olympic sport.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
it's inaugurated.
Yeah.
Which we saw yesterday, right, King? A video about several weird Olympic sports, like how
Yeah.
apparently speed walking is an official Olympic sport.
Oh no, that's
Yeah.
been around a long time.
Yeah, well, I know it's been around, but I didn't know it was actual.
But now,
they had it
speed
in-
walking or long distance walking?
Speed walking, like they're going around like.
Oh yeah, but is it the same thing, or is it a 100-yard speed walk? You know,
Well, they go around the circle and all that stuff. So
well, they actually go out like cross country running.
well, maybe there's different types of speed. I don't know,
But it's as long as they stay heel toe. But yeah, they move it.
I mean, I know
Very
about
interesting.
I knew about its existence.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize it was an actual Olympic sport. That they had it in
yeah.
the Olympics.
Yeah, right.
Because the Olympics doesn't have every last sport known to mankind.
No.
They only have a select few.
Yeah,
You know.
and they add something every year.
Yeah.
And maybe just for that year,
Yeah.
whatever country's hosting, I believe they can pick a sport to bring in. I believe.
Now, what's really crazy is that there's been talks going on about bringing esports into the Olympics.
What sports?
Esports.
What's that?
That's videos.
Like playing Diablo, like you've seen videos
Okay,
of the
yeah.
gaming on the computers, like
Yeah, okay,
like they
yeah.
have it's a $1
They
billion
do have-
industry.
They have contests. Yeah.
Yes.
I got that.
They have tournaments and leagues and everything, and
Tournaments,
like they have it in, like they're in Korea. They have entire academies where they eat, sleep, and breathe that game.
Wow.
Like they only get 4 to 5 hours of sleep. They wake up, they eat, then they go play. They eat lunch, they go play. That is their life. That's not their job. That is their life. You know, and
That's crazy.
Well, we're talking about millions and tens of millions of dollars on the line.
True.
Of these contests. So it's an entire industry has built up around it. I think they have some of these academies in Japan too, and stuff and it's not just you get in there at 22. No, they
I got you.
like they get in there as young as 8 years old. They don't go to school. That's their life. They get no education other than this video game. That is their career. That is their life.
Stupid.
And now they're bringing that into the Olympics. Maybe they're talking about it. But we got another one more sports one before we get into the next millennium here, 1997. This one here.
1977, Detroit Tigers retire pitching great Hal Newhouser's number 16.
Jersey, yeah, they retired his jersey.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Moving on up into 2002, a Sukhoi Su-27 fighter crashed during an air show in Lviv, Ukraine, killing 85 and injuring more than 100 in the largest air show disaster in history.
So obviously he crashed into the fans.
Well, I don't know.
Well, how else should you kill 83?
Well, I mean, could have. Well, hold on a second. Let's. Oops, that's the wrong button. Let's see if there's an image of this. Oh wow.
So not into the fans. But
Well,
people
there was a
around.
crowd,
Yeah.
and that.
Yeah.
That wow. How is it upright like that? That's wild. So yeah, it crashed into the crowd. Here we go.
There we go.
Wow,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh, wow.
Dude, look, he's
Holy
ejecting
cow.
at moment of impact.
Whoa.
I
wonder if he lived.
I don't know. But I mean,
Yeah, that's a heck of a shot.
wow. Wow.
I didn't even see him initially.
That's the first thing I saw, the flame here. I'm like, oh, what is that? It's not a missile. But usually they eject a couple hundred feet in the air.
Kind of looks like he lit a fart on fire.
Okay.
Sorry, that's not good.
There's a time and a place, Loon. But
Not the time or place, huh?
do you hear the sound I made?
Oh, you one up me. You one up me.
But no. That's wild how that he ejected
That's a heck of a shot.
on the
My
land.
goodness.
Wow, man. 2003, a group of 321 Filipino armed soldiers called Magdalo took over Oakwood Premier Ayala Center in Makati City to show Filipino people the alleged corruption of the Gloria Macapagal Arroyo administration. So yeah, the 14th president of the Philippines, she was corrupt or something.
Probably took a lot of the Filipino money.
Let's see here. Her administration was marked by greater economic prosperity for the country, though marred by attempted military coups, including the Oakwood Mutiny, that we just, Oakwood, right here.
Yeah.
Allegations of corruption. But it doesn't go on about what she did. Like,
Why was she corrupt?
yeah, it doesn't
Or
tell
how
me.
was she corrupt?
Yeah.
Oh well.
She's still alive. So,
Oh really?
yeah,
Born in.
47.
Oh great.
She's 77.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still not older than me.
No. No, she's not. 2005, NASA postponed all shuttle flights pending an investigation into the foam shedding problem on Discovery's external tanks. Yeah, remember that that one that was going up that blew up? Oh, no, that was that was Challenger. Challenger blew up.
Yeah.
No, there's another one that blew up coming down. Remember when it went up, and they think that some of the shielding tiles came off.
Yeah.
And it turns out, I think that they did, because upon re-entry, it blew up. Remember?
I don't remember that one.
There was a
Darn it.
blowing up re-entry.
Oh, okay.
So, Discovery. 2006, the Federal Republic of Germany was deemed guilty in the loss of Bashikiran 2937 and DHL Flight 611 because it is illegal to outsource flight surveillance. Okay, so they were caught doing not right things. We got I remember this, 2007. Do you want to take this, King? 2007? This is a tragedy here.
2007, two news helicopters from Phoenix, Arizona television station KNXV and KTVK collide over Steel Indian School Park in central Phoenix while covering a police chase. There were no survivors. Worst civilian aviation incident in Phoenix history.
Yeah, worst civil aviation. Yeah, maybe that's civil. Civilians.
Maybe don't ambulance chasing a helicopter. News.
Well, they were supposed to all be talking to each other, and like they've done videos on this and everything, and I've actually seen the videos, like, of the different angles of them colliding, and it is really haunting. But one of the pilots just wasn't paying attention or something, and all it takes is one. Like.
Yep.
And
Just
it's,
one.
Yep. 2012.
Here's 2012. Queen Elizabeth II opens the 30th Olympics in London, United Kingdom, with some help from 007.
James
Dun,
Bond.
dun, 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 dun.
I gotta see that. Like, I'm not gonna play it here. I'm gonna
Yeah.
queue it up for later. So, what was that? 2012. Oh wow, that's interesting, because that's the same Olympic ceremony with the hospital beds, I think, that I was talking about
really?
earlier.
Yeah.
2012. James Bond. Not James Bond. James Bond. Okay.
Well, you gotta have the Queen there for the ritual.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, she's one of the primary consumers of, the adrenochrome, or she was at least, or maybe she still is, and maybe she's not actually dead. Who knows? What else do we got here?
2013, 1,000 inmates escaped from the prison in Benghazi, Libya.
Yikes! Holy crap! That's a big leak. 1,000?
Yeah.
Like-
Isn't that the whole Benghazi thing that happened?
Oh, with Hillary involvement?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't
This
know.
is way before that. Oh wait.
No, this is about the right
Eh.
time.
Yeah, this is Barack Obama's period, right?
Yeah. Obama's reign was
Well,
20.
that's when she would have been Secretary of State, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2008 to 2016.
Yeah.
So, speaking of,
Yeah, that's when they left. They didn't send them help.
Yeah. No, what a debacle.
yeah.
Yeah.
Although that's, looking back, that's nothing compared to what happened in Afghanistan during Biden. So,
No.
but God, what a joke! You know, the Taliban riding around in freaking bumper cars. What a joke!
But man, the story, I don't know if you've ever seen it. I don't know if they were SEALs or what. All special forces trapped on that roof and what they had to do to survive. It's amazing.
Oh, I've heard about that. Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah. We got 2 more 2013s if you'd like to take them.
2013, 100 people are killed and 1,500 injured in a crackdown against protesters in Cairo, Egypt. Cairo. Of course, I should have recognized that.
Yeah, you said Cairo. I'm like, I know you.
I did say Cairo.
Like, you're better than this. I know this.
Come on, I should know that name. I know that name. Come on.
But wow.
All right, 2013, first Przewalski's horse, whose wild populations were believed extinct before in 1969, is born via artificial insemination at the Smithsonian Conservation Biology Institute as part of the worldwide efforts to rebuild wild herds.
Oh, cool. So
what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, we're going against nature. Oh, that's a cool looking horse. Huh.
I mean, cool.
Yeah.
But you gotta kind of push that needle forward and to the most extreme. That's what I do with everything. Like a new invention. Like, okay, this is good, but what if we just take the knob and
crank it?
Oh no.
Have
right?
an overpopulation of that horse, so we can justify the Western culture enjoying horse meat as part of our diet, because I am interested. I mean, like horse meat is a staple, like how chicken, beef, and chicken, beef, and pork is to us. Mm-hmm. They have that over in Japan and China and various other places. I think even in Europe, horse meat is just as prevalent.
Well, culturally here, no.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I'd like to try it.
I'm in
any
a
meat,
hurry.
meat, I'll try it. Well, not any. It's not. God, I worked myself into a corner there. Not any meat, but
Well,
any animal.
Yeah.
it's like
There you go.
how appalled I was when I went to a restaurant in Florida and there was dolphin on the menu.
Oh, that's awful. Yeah,
I got up and left. I said no.
I
Dolphin.
can't handle that. But I would like to try kangaroo. At one point too.
Oh, I guess I wouldn't try dog
Yeah.
or cat
I wouldn't try
or
dog or
rat.
cat either. No, or rat. No. Or bat.
Or bat.
So. Anyway, 2014, Liberia shut down most of its borders due to fears about the spread of an Ebola epidemic. And that would make sense.
Must be nice
Yeah, to have shut down borders. I know, right?
to be able to do that. Just to have the option as a country, just to we can
know.
shut down our borders.
Believe me, everything you're feeling, I feel 100 times more. Because
Well,
I'm right on it.
I love when our borders opened up. COVID was still going on. No checking there.
Oh yeah, well it wasn't because of that. They just wanted the votes.
I got that.
So I know you got that. I'm just, yeah.
But everybody else is checked. Not who's
Yeah.
coming across the border. Are you kidding me?
Ridiculous.
We send money over to other countries to help them protect their borders.
Yeah.
We can't do that here. No. Military on our borders? What?
Yeah.
You're crazy.
Oh, speaking about
Crazy.
borders and militarized borders and all that stuff, Obama reaffirmed Israel's right to defend itself, but condemned civilian casualties in Gaza. Well,
That's
those,
like
those two kind of work
Interesting.
hand in hand, though.
kind of trying to appease both sides of the fence there.
Yeah, I
I
know,
don't
right?
know.
Well,
You can't do it. Doesn't work.
2015, Fiat Chrysler was fined a record $105 million by U.S. regulators over their number of car recalls. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
We also have the Shanghai Composite Index dropped 8.5% in one day. I don't know what that means. Do you know?
Well, yeah.
That sounds bad.
It's their market.
So that sounds bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's not good.
2017, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos briefly became the world's richest person at $91.4 billion US, overtaking Bill Gates for half a day. Well, okay, well, they're both monsters, and yeah, like 2017, Reince Priebus resigned as chief of staff to U.S. President Donald Trump after just over 6 months, shortest non-interim tenure ever.
Ryan's.
Wow.
Ryan's Priebus.
Reince Priebus. Okay,
Yeah.
That's a weird name.
Yeah.
So, Rinse. I just call him Rinse. like actually, hell, like if that was
Don't wash, just rinse.
No. If that was my name, every time I left, I'd be like, rinse off. Like, you know, away I
Off
go.
is the key word there.
Yeah. Never get rid of me.
I'm starting to believe.
Well, after 37 years, if
I'm
you haven't
starting to
figured it out
believe.
yet. What else do we got here? 2018.
2018, American singer-songwriter Neil Diamond gives a small thank you to concert to firefighters near his home in Colorado.
So he did a little impromptu concert right there, and
Yeah.
so thank you. That's pretty
Kind
cool.
of a tribute.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. You should have kept that attitude, instead of complaining. When Joe Rogan is more views than me, everybody boycott him. When
Wait.
What?
yeah, no.
You
Neil
complained about Neil Diamond?
Neil Diamond bitched to Spotify saying that
No, they
that-
got the wrong guy. What's his name? The Canadian. Neil Young.
Neil Young. Okay.
Yeah, Neil
Okay.
Diamond, are you sure?
Yeah.
I knew it was a Neil because
Yeah.
when there's certain names that you remember in life, and Neil is a very big name in mine.
Yeah.
So but I don't. There's too many Neils, so you only need one.
One too many, right?
Well, I guess there's too many me's, so there should be a negative. Anyway, what else do we got here? 2019. This one.
American swimmer Caleb Dressel wins 3 gold medals in one day at the World Championship in Gwangju, South Korea. 50 meters freestyle, 100 meters butterfly, and mixed 4 times 100 meter freestyle relay.
World record 3.
World record 3 minutes 19 seconds and 40.40
.40 seconds.
seconds.
19.4 seconds. Yeah.
Swimmers seem to have the ability to win many gold medals for different events.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do that durability wise, but they seem to may work. Like Mark Spitz, I think 6 or 7 gold medals.
Yeah, 3 in a row though. That's
Yeah.
In one day at least.
In
That's-
one day. That's
crazy.
amazing. How do you do that? How do you have the
very
endurance
good.
to have 3 events in one day? But the durability of it.
Yeah.
How do you not get fatigued?
I mean,
It's amazing.
yeah. 2019, at least 65 mourners were killed in a gun attack and a funeral near Maiduguri by suspected Boko Haram militants in northeast Nigeria. Yikes. When you, not even a funeral, you get any sort of just leave
Yeah.
us alone,
Yeah.
they're there in mourning, and 65 at a funeral,
Terrible.
gunned down. And Boko Haram, I don't know much, but I know that's one of the most vilest examples of human organizations ever to disgrace this planet. Boko Haram.
Yeah. I don't know much about them, to tell you the truth.
I just know that they're
I know the name,
contemptible.
that's it.
So, 2019 as well. MLB Phillies reviled 1979 all burgundy alternate uniforms as part of a retro night promotion in a 15-7 loss to Atlanta Braves at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. Well, I mean, it was nobody liked the uniform, and then they lost. So, I mean, if I know anything about baseball and superstition, don't wear those uniforms again. Nobody liked them,
Yeah.
and then you brought them back as part of a retro night, and then you lost.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now you know what you don't do.
I remember once in a Laker game, and they decided to go retro back to the 80s or something, uniforms, which the shorts were very short and very
Oh
tight.
God.
So they're getting blown out the first half, and they came out the second half.
Oh, my God.
Got rid of those uniforms, put the old ones back on.
That is.
So there you go.
It is a bit of an annoying looking uniform. like all that red.
Yeah.
I mean, like it looks like they're covered in blood almost.
Wow.
Like
Yeah, it's ugly.
yeah. 2019 as well. Trump called Baltimore a quote disgusting rat and rodent infested mess end quote. Called Congress Representative Elijah Cummings responsible. Well,
I remember that. Baltimore is a mess,
Yeah, well,
along with a lot of other cities.
yeah, who are led by like
Generally,
Not good
liberal mayors, or
yeah,
generally.
or people who check boxes, like
No, I'm going to stick with liberal.
well, check boxes are liberal,
True.
so I mean we're both right. 2020, what do we got?
2020, Google decides its employees can work from home until July 2021, with the largest tech company to commit working from home.
Yeah, I remember that. Now all these places realizing, like, hey, why spend all this money, on taxes and property tax and, like buying the property and all this stuff on brick and mortar establishments when we can just do all our work from home, Like, that gets rid of an entire real estate section, of business. Like,
Yeah.
if you can do business from home, why do you need a brick and mortar establishment?
Well-
Why anywhere for people to go to,
And my nephew could easily work from home for the type of business, the type of job he has, and during COVID they did.
Yeah.
When they finally was over, he's partially at home now, partially at work, because they still want interaction within the workforce.
Yeah,
It stimulates ideas. So
synergy and
Yeah,
all
so
that
he gets
corporate
some-
buzzwords.
some stay at home and some at work.
Yeah. 2020 as well.
2020, U.S. Congressman John Lewis becomes the first black lawmaker to lie and state in the rotunda in Washington, D.C.
Now, for people who don't really understand what that means, that he's dead. He's lying in state, so he's like like how you do with like your past presidents or whatever. He's lying there for other people to come and pay their respects, and view him and all that stuff before he's, like buried or cremated or put into a morgue or whatever it is. They. So
It's called lying in state.
yeah. Let's see here. 2021.
2021, American gymnast and four-time Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles withdraws from the women's team final at the Tokyo Games, citing needs to focus on her mental health. Also misses individual finals. I remember this.
I remember this too.
I
Like,
do
wasn't
too.
there like some kind of weird scandal or something like happened or
I don't think
like,
they ever got. I don't know if they ever got to the bottom of it or not.
I don't think
Yeah, it was
that.
just a weird excuse. Mental health.
I just
like-
remember her dropping out because of mental issues.
Yeah. That's
Like-
all I know too.
Like, wasn't it because of something posted online or like
I don't.
there
I
there
have
was
any idea.
something?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember. While that was happening, China tested a missile with a hypersonic weapon system, later called very close to a Sputnik moment by a U.S. general. Yeah, that's concerning. But something that Peets, good old Jacob Peets, we all know and love that guy. I've always been like, saying, oh, blah, blah, the hypersonic technology, is a threat and all that stuff. China and Russia have it and all that stuff. He put all of my worries at ease with saying, like, radar travels at the speed of light. Like, so even if, because I was saying, oh, it's faster than our tracking capabilities. No, it's not. It's not. So, like, all of that worry, we'll still be tracking it. Like, so like, I got caught up in all the fear mongering online rigmarole.
Yeah.
I didn't stop and think. Like, I'm guilty of what makes me super annoyed so many times about humanity. I do it myself all the time.
Yeah.
The difference being, I acknowledge and I correct myself. Most other people just double down. They're like, oh, well, I'm not like that. Like, so. 2021 as well, Fiji retained Olympic rugby sevens title with a 27-12 win over New Zealand in Tokyo. Only second gold in the country's Olympic history. Nice. We also have Italio Ferreira of Brazil and U.S. Carissa Moore claim inaugural men's and women's surfing gold medals at the Tokyo Olympic Games.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so surfing is a Olympic sport now. Cool.
Well, it could have been a one-time deal.
Well, yeah, as you said.
Yeah.
But you know what? Is surfing an Olympic sport? Surfing at the Summer Olympics. Surfing was included in 2015, and this is 2021. So this is, I think, now an established sport. These Summer Olympics, surfing. Now I don't know how you can do it in France.
Well,
So-
you don't have. It should be somewhere in their country. I don't know if it's every Olympics or not.
Well, 2015.
Established. So they would have had it in 16. They have it in 20 and 24 today. Ask for today. Is surfing Olympic sport in 2024?
Yeah. It says here it was 2020 and 2024. It was in surfing.
Because 2024 is today in France.
Well, it says here, September 2015, surfing was included in a short list along with baseball, softball, karate, skateboarding, and sport climbing to be considered for inclusion in the 2020 Summer Olympics.
Oh, okay.
So
for the
it
next
was.
one.
So
Well,
you
it's
know,
considered. I don't know if it doesn't say it was.
well, it shows here 2020 is clickable for surfing at the Summer Olympics.
Okay, click on it.
Okay, 2020 and 2024, surfing at the 2020 Summer Olympics
Okay.
at Turkasaki Beach in Chiba,
Okay. So
and then
where's-
surfing in 2024, Tiapu's Reef Pass in Tahiti, French Polynesia.
Okay. So French
Oh.
Polynesia. So it's around the world as long as it's a French something.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
really
so-
interesting to
Yeah.
think that because the actual Olympics are being physically held in Paris, right?
Right.
But this event is being held on the other side of the world.
And-
That's wild.
Yeah, French Polynesia.
So if you want to watch surfing, you have to go from Paris all the way to French Polynesia
yeah,
if you want to physically see it.
that's
And
not uncommon that it's held somewhere else that they can't do it.
that is wild. You'd think that though, like,
Why? You got to go somewhere where there's surf.
yeah,
In this particular instance.
yeah, or you can just not host surfing, as you say.
But if it's an established deal, then you're going to if you have somewhere to hold it.
That's
Or
just
you
weird.
don't-
I always usually just thought like all the Olympics were like in that same general vicinity. You know, like if you go to the Olympics, you want to see as many events as you can. Well, what if you want to watch surfing and you go to Paris?
Yeah, but
Well,
this-
now you have to go to French Polynesia and then come back.
I can't
like-
remember, but I remember the LA Olympics. They did something. I think it was still in California, but considerably farther away. I don't know if it was mountain climbing or what, but something. I remember something that wasn't here
Yeah,
in LA.
that's kind of lame though. Honestly, as someone who would like to spectate, now you know if I want to see something, I have to make sure it's either where I want to see everything else, or I have to have it be its own thing. That's not fair. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You know,
Yeah.
like not everywhere has a perfect surfing location.
Right.
You know, but you know you'd think if surfing or something like like I don't know. Anyway, what else do we got here in 2021? Largest ever. King,
What?
your mic was on. Now it's off. Oh, now it's on. Hello?
Oh,
There you are.
largest reparation of 17
Repatriation.
repatriation of 17,000 looted Iraqi antiques returned to Baghdad, including items from Hobby Lobby's Museum of what?
I know, right?
Okay.
I think it's a
Hobby
different
Lobby's
Hobby Lobby.
Museum of the Bible and Cornell University. What?
I don't know if it's the same Hobby Lobby as that store. Like. That's
I know Hobby Lobby
can't be, right?
definitely honors its spiritual beliefs. They wouldn't close on us. They closed on a Sunday. It wouldn't open. Things like that. So it
Huh.
sounds like it is the same.
so Hobby Lobby is involved in religion, like that, like.
Well, their beliefs. They brought their religion into their business,
Huh.
and it showed up in not opening on Sundays, and they wouldn't open. They refused to open on Sundays.
I did not know that. So they share a similarity with what's that chicken place?
Chicken fillet? No.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Yeah.
Chick-fil-A, yeah. Huh. But that's a lot. Like 17,000 looted Iraqi antiques. You know, like repatriated. Like they gave them back to the people. Like that's awesome. Oh. Then let's see here. I'll take this one here, and then you can take the last three. Sound good?
All right.
Swiss team of Jolianda Neef, Sina Fry, and Linda Intergrad made a clean sweep of the medals in the women's cross-country mountain bike event at the Tokyo Olympics. Awesome. Clean sweep.
Yeah.
And then Freya.
So 2021 triathlon, Lauren Duffy claims historic first ever Olympic gold medal for Bermuda in the women's event at Tokyo Games.
All right. So
All right.
first Bermuda medal.
Yeah.
Cool.
2022 170 carat pink diamond Lulo rose, thought to be the largest discovered in 300 years, found in Angola.
Angola. Holy crap.
What's that look like?
Let's see here. Lulo Rose. Actually, let's see here. 170 carat Lulo Rose. Wow. Look at the size of that thing. Well, I mean, we can't really tell.
There it is when he's holding it up. That looks like it's already been cut.
That's been cut. Like I want, because holding it up next to pliers doesn't do anything. We don't know how big the pliers are, you know. But I mean, it's still big.
That
like, huh?
right there?
Right where? Here?
Down one. Right there. What's it? Up.
But that's
over.
cut.
Up and over.
Up and over.
Up. Left video. There you go.
What's it next to?
I don't
Yeah.
know. Another thing.
Another thing we don't know the size of.
Yeah.
That
Put a finger or something.
That didn't
in there,
help
you
at
know?
all. Like.
Yeah. We see it cut. That's pretty big cut. So
yeah.
you know it's going to be big.
Yeah. So, all right. Anyway, one more. Here we go.
Hey, 2023 City of Phoenix, Arizona heat record continues with 28 consecutive days of temperature at above 110 degrees Fahrenheit or 43.3 Celsius. Overnight, low falls below 90 below 90 Fahrenheit. Oh my God! Imagine that being your relief to 90 degrees.
Well, we have that.
That's the low.
We have that all the time over here.
No.
After our first
Oh,
time
yeah.
in
Not here
18
where we live.
days.
90 degrees a low?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
That'd be really rare for us.
It's been 90 degrees many times at night, at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
It can be here, but
It
it's
has
rare.
been.
It's not the norm.
You get AC in your room. You don't know how hot it gets.
I know exactly how hot it gets. And, anyways, it can be, but it's not the norm. Even this last heat wave we have is still getting down into what, the 70s, 75?
80s.
You can look it up.
Okay, well,
I would say we got into the mid to high 70s.
you spend a night in my room and come tell me anything different than what I
But in
say.
my room, it's the same thing, same house.
You have AC, and you have a big ass fan. You have
I
like
have a fan. You have a fan. I don't have
Come
AC.
on.
you have
in that
AC.
room. I don't have AC in that room.
You also have you have a direct window right there,
True.
like with wind
True.
and all that stuff. I have a window that faces the
come on,
house.
we're
I get
talking-
nothing.
This is not the history show.
So, but yeah, but that's hot
Yeah, very.
for first time in 18 days. Anyway, that shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description below for any link you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. We are not just on YouTube and Rumble. We're also on, BitChute and Odyssey and various other places. Go check out our link tree. For your dose of Past Events Daily, we stream almost every day at 11 in the morning Pacific Time, which is 12 noon Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. We do have other shows. We have the show actually upcoming in about an hour and a half, Omni Coalition News Show, where we might bump that back by an hour. We'll see. Most likely we'll be live at 3 p.m. Pacific Time. But yeah, for, weird, unusual, notable events, weather, and sports. And we have various other shows, talk show coming up tomorrow. We have various things to talk about then, too. But yeah, if you want to catch us live, if you're in the West, it's 11 and 3 all for the Mountain, 12 and 4. Watch us for more. Central, 1 and 5 for the Contrived. East, 2 and 6 for your fix. For all of you and all of us, I am Mayo Xander.
King's Refuge.
Golden Loon.
And you, a viewer, of course, are you. Thank you once again for watching. And until you catch us, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!
Deuces.
Oh, yeah.